Hi, good morning. I know you guys are like, BOZE, what is this 4, 5, I don't know how long it is, hour video? What is this? Listen, I got this. Just trust me. Recently, I learned about this thing, and I know a lot of you guys do this because you do this with my videos, but I just found out about it. People kind of drown out their anxious thoughts with like people talking or music or something like that so they can like focus on a task at hand. I don't do that. I wallow in my anxiety and my thoughts, but I recently found out about this practice. I know, have y'all been doing this watching my videos? Y'all ain't tell me I'm over here stressing out when I could be cleaning and listening to Fresh and Fit. Why was that the first podcast? With that, I have found long 2 to 3 hour videos very comforting so that I can clean or just do some kind of task at hand. So what you're about to see is just straight up 4 hours of raw footage from one of my live streams where we watched a little bit more of the Chandler Halderson case. The video itself is kind of interesting, but listen, the main reason I'm uploading this is so you can go get your work done. Go draw something, go clean something, just listen to the mindless banter in the background, but actually also, I'm most of the one with the mindless banter. Look, I'm just running my mouth right now. The case is pretty crazy. And Kat, Chandler's ex-girlfriend, that took the screenshot of him in the Snapchat thing, she takes the stand, and it's actually pretty intense. I couldn't stop watching. We all watched this for about 4 or 5 hours on a live stream. So, you know what? Find something that you need to get done. Maybe it's a little administrative work, some bills, some something. Hang out with me, sit here, and whenever you gotta get it done, turn the video back on. I got you. By the way, folks, I have started a second channel just for shorter videos. You know, there's a lot of stuff that happens on the live stream that's funny that, you know, doesn't go anywhere. You can check it out in the description. So basically, Chandler Halderson was lying to his parents for many, many years. Eventually, he got caught, and instead of facing his lies, he chose to murder his parents and tried to bury them in a friend of the family's backyard. He was actually caught walking from the backyard back to the pool where somebody had taken a photo of him, and deep in the woods were his parents' dismembered body parts. So you may have seen the YouTube video where we watched the prosecution's opening statements, but there's so much more to this. What you're looking at right now is his girlfriend Kat, who takes the stand here. So let's check this out. This is Chandler Halderson's now ex-girlfriend taking the stand.
Could you please state and spell your name for us?
Catherine Melander, Cathryn, Melander, Mellender.
And ask you to grab the base of the microphone and pull it really close because the fans are on. That creates a level of noise. Your voice is on the softer side, and you have a mask, so being up really close to it will make sure we can all hear. Thank you. Go right ahead.
You go by Kat, correct?
Correct.
Can I call you Kat today?
Yes.
Oh, this is the prosecutor we like. I recognize his voice.
How old are you?
I'm 21 years of age.
And do you live here in the Madison area?
I do live in the Madison area.
Okay. And do you know someone named Chandler Halderson?
I do.
How do you know Chandler?
We were in a relationship.
At this point, something's going to happen. The judge is going to ask everyone out here to lower their mask, and I'm going to ask you if you see Chandler in the courtroom.
Oh,
it's
no.
one of the strange things we're going to do. So the judge will go.
Don't say anything until everybody has remasked.
Dude,
if everyone can lower
so
their
intense.
masks for a count of 3, 1, everybody within the courtroom, except in the jury box, 1, 2, 3, replace your masks.
Is Chandler in the room here today?
Yes.
Can you tell me where he's sitting and describe what he's wearing?
Show him!
It's over there with a blue tie and a blazer.
They were dating and she got no remorse.
Thank you.
When did you first begin your relationship with Chandler?
Now, bro, hold on. I gotta change my shirt. I'm getting into this. It's not like my titties are sweating or nothing. I'm getting hot in this, and I know I'm about to be moving, bro.
In August 2019.
And how did you meet?
We met through a friend.
What was Chandler, what was going on in his life when you first met? What was he doing with his life?
He was attending college. He was living at home and preparing to move into an apartment.
Oh my God.
Dog sitting quite often.
She's a trooper.
And where were you in life? What were you up to when you first met back in 2019?
When I first met Chandler, I was going to school as well.
Guys, she was dating Chandler when he murdered his parents. I don't know if you guys remember the part where where Chandler said he was going off to do chores, and then she looked at his location on Snapchat and he was in the woods, And she took a screen cap of it. Like, she was actively dating him when he murdered the two people in this world that he would have claimed to love the most. Also, he could get away with a lie. You know what I mean? And so, like, thinking about her sitting here just talking about her relationship with Chandler when he's like, she was in the interrogation room defending Chandler because she thought there was no possible way that he did this. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Damn, you guys I feel like people are always so surprised that I'm 30. Listen, guys, get over it, okay? You're not going to find anyone at 30 with this much energy and zest to life, okay? Most of us have given up. I don't know why I still have it. Just bear with me, okay?
Part of Student Senate, doing shows in the theater department.
What types of things did you and Chandler do in your relationship? Did you go on a lot of dates together?
Yeah, we would grab dinners.
Did he ever have money?
Have movie dates, just sit at home and watch movies. Go on walks quite often. Play with the dogs. That was a big thing. We loved playing Frisbee with the dogs.
Wow.
Start shows together.
Sure.
And all that stuff is very cute, but it was free 99 because Chandler ain't have no job. That's probably why he was dog sitting, just to get a little bit of extra coin. But if he was really working at this insurance company like he said he was, he would have had a couple G's a month. He didn't have to pay rent. Like I think his parents were eventually asking for a couple $100s in rent. But take the girl out for dinner. Damn.
Around 2019 and 2020, and then obviously into this year a little bit, or last year, 2021, how would you and Chandler communicate with each other? Just by calling each other, or were there other things too?
We would talk on Snapchat, text, FaceTime, and call quite often.
Okay. Would you also, so it's text, Snapchat, call, FaceTime? Mm-hmm. Would sometimes you start communicating about a subject on one and then switch to another and then switch back?
Yes.
Fair to say you communicated or you texted a lot with Chandler.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's see the text.
And you've seen in this case.
I am the nosiest woman in America. Anytime somebody mentions something, they're like, it was in a text message. You guys were texting. There were text messages. I'm like, let's see them. I'll pull them out. Bring out the text messages.
Probably at some point printouts of even just a couple of days of your text messages, which are hundreds of pages long, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, we're not doing an age poll. First of all, that's fucking weird. Second of all, it's discriminatory. You're discriminating against me. And third of all, I don't want to know how many of you guys are 11. Otherwise, I'm going to stop cursing. Do not ask for an age poll. Otherwise, we will change the entire trajectory of the stream. Fuck. Thank you.
Did you have any sort of relationship with Chandler's family?
Yes.
Let's start with his brother, Mitchell. Did you know Mitchell?
I did know Mitchell.
Tell me about your relationship with Mitchell.
We're going to watch an interview with Mitchell.
I would hang out with him at the family events, be it like a dinner or for the holidays.
Also, somebody in chat said, mentally, I am 11. I can agree with that. I span several ages. I can go anywhere from 11 years old to 31. Just say the word. Okay, everyone, shut the fuck up now. We gotta watch the video. This is interesting. I didn't expect this to be this interesting. I was over here like, we're gonna have a little chill stream. I had to change my top. Now shut up. Also, I want to apologize to anyone that's like, wow, I want to meet BOZE one day. Someone said I'm 3. Get out. I have to ban you now because you said you're 3. How are you typing? You're just a baby. I don't remember what I was going to say. Hold on. Everyone shut up. You're just a crime baby. Stop! This one's definitely going on YouTube, so we need to get... Dude, people are going to be watching this on YouTube and the comments on the side are going to be like, I'm 3. All right, are we ready now? Children. Okay, someone said press play. Damn, fine.
I did know Mitchell.
Tell me about your relationship with Mitchell.
I was just born.
I would hang out with him at the family events, be it like a dinner or for the holidays. We had a game night at his home once with Caitlin and Chandler and myself. Usually see him during family events.
What about, let's start with Bart. Did you have a relationship, or how did you know Bart Halderson?
I knew Mr. Halderson through Chandler.
Someone said they went to school with him.
I would be at their home quite often, and he would show me fishing tips, or if I was cooking, him and Mrs. Halderson would be in the kitchen.
Kat, you're
and
doing
we would
so
have game
good.
nights quite often. And we would also play Mario Kart together a lot.
Okay.
This is why I said this in the last video. Chandler Halderson is a fucking sicko. I mean, Kat had no idea that he didn't even like his parents. I don't even think he disliked his parents. He just wanted to get away with the lie and then get the life insurance policy. That's it. That's it. That's it. Dude, I want to know. I bet you Chandler had a telegram. I'm just saying, some weird stuff be happening over there sometimes. Something, this is weird. It's just weird.
I have a handkerchief.
Go ahead and take a moment. And water.
You're doing good, Kat.
What about Krista? Could you tell me about your relationship with Krista Halderson?
Mrs. Halderson and I, we would text often about what we're doing in our lives and talk about the dogs and Chandler, and like we would talk about recipes and food we want to try, and if I was cooking them something from my culture, she would always be excited, and we talk about it and always talk about game nights and wanting to do a girls' trip to Disneyland together with her, I, and Caitlin.
Okay. You texted often with Miss Halderson?
Yes, I did.
Positive relationship, a good relationship?
Yeah,
Did you like
No
her?
doubts, bro.
I did like Miss Halderson a lot.
Did you like Mr. Halderson?
Yes, I did.
Dude.
You were over at the Halderson home quite.
Can you imagine the betrayal, the trust issues? Like, I would be so worried dating anybody ever. Chandler's girlfriend was the best thing he had going on. Dude, seriously. Seriously. Man,
Quite a bit.
dude.
Very often, yes.
And that's over in Windsor, Oak Springs Circle?
Yes.
I'm going to object to leading.
That's fine.
Kat, hello?
Sure. Whereabouts?
Leading questions.
We'll withdraw the question and I'll ask it again. Whereabouts did the Haldersons live?
They lived in Windsor.
Wait, what was the question that they said was leading? About where they lived? Come on, dude.
Halderson?
Yes, I did.
Positive relationship, a good relationship?
Yeah,
Did you like her?
I did like Miss Halderson a lot.
Did you like Mr. Halderson?
Yes, I did.
You were over at the Halderson home quite a bit?
Very often, yes.
And that's over in Windsor, Oak Springs
Yeah,
Circle?
I guess. They grabbed the phone.
That's fine. I'll sure. Whereabouts?
Leading questions.
We'll withdraw the question and I'll ask it again. Whereabouts did the Haldersons live?
They lived in Windsor. Past that big church. I don't know the road of it, but it was past a big church right by a pond.
When you were over at the house, did you mostly stick in one spot, or did you kind of treat it like your own home, go wherever you needed to go?
I would go wherever I needed to go within reason.
Okay. Back in June of this year, just before maybe everything that we're going to talk about happened, were you?
Jolly old golly said, okay, is there anyone else here who wants a dog half their size? How big are you? I don't understand that question at all. Like, I can't even answer it. Also, do you know what we're doing right now? I understand if you're bored. I understand. A dog half their size. Okay. All right. Anyways.
Over at the Halderson home?
Read the room. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Read the room, dude. That's all I gotta say. Just read the room, bro.
Back in June of this year, just before maybe everything that we're going to talk about happened, were you over at the Halderson home and had an occasion to maybe go in the basement?
Yes.
Why did you go in the basement while you were over there?
What's in the
I
basement?
went to the basement to grab ice cream and soda to make root beer floats with Mr. and Mrs. Halderson and Chandler.
That is so
And this is
sweet.
sometime in, when is it?
June.
Okay. And why were you going to the basement to grab those items? Where were they were in the basement?
They were in the basement in the freezer.
Okay. The Haldersons had a freezer in the basement?
2.
There's leading questions going on.
About the freezers?
I'll sustain. Go ahead and phrase carefully.
Tell me about what freezers the Haldersons had.
They had
Dude, don't tell
a
me
chest
their
freezer
bodies
and
in
then a tall
freezers.
one, kind of like a fridge, but it was just a freezer.
Okay. And did you have an occasion ever to go in the chest freezer?
Yes.
And what types of things were in there?
Mostly fish, specifically salmon, veggies. Sometimes they'd keep ice bags in there.
Was it full?
Yes.
The other freezer, did you have occasions to go in that on occasion?
Just once.
Okay. And was it being used in full?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a screen on in front of you right now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you Exhibit 21's been received into evidence. And
Wait, hold on. I gotta make sure there's no like body parts here. Hello? Exhibit 21 brought into evidence? Hold on now.
I think we went too far, Judge. It's been received in. Okay. Now.
I
Judge.
gotta make sure, guys, because there's one stream where I was like, let's do this case. And like right in the opener, they were like, do you recognize the body of this dead woman? And I was like, ah! Give us a second. Just give us a second. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. Thank you.
No, that's what we discussed.
There we go. Alderson's
Basement.
right there. Is that anything like that?
Okay.
Out of discovery, you
I think we're okay. I think we're
Be on call
good.
days and
Okay.
No.
yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you Exhibit 21's been received into evidence in this case. I think we went too far, Judge. There was a happy medium there in the second.
No, that's what we discussed.
That's the freezer. Did he just?
Is the Elmo on? Fully. It's the one.
There we go. There's a little bit of a glare on that, but is that look to be the Halderson's basement or something else?
Yes, it's the Halderson basement.
And that chest freezer that's open right there, is that the chest freezer that you had been in previously?
Yes.
And was it full when you saw it in June?
Yes.
Was it sitting like that open when you saw it last?
No.
Okay. Was it in that general location when you saw it last?
Yes.
Shit, think about that one. Okay.
In your relationship with Chandler, was there a lot of discussion about money?
Money?
Yes.
Okay.
Was it important to you that whoever you were dating have a job or be going to school or something? Can
Sure.
Yes.
you tell me why that would be important?
Just think being self-sufficient.
Okay.
It's either in school or working.
Okay. As far as you knew, in 2020 and this year even, 2021, let's say the spring of last year, was Chandler going to school?
Yes.
Did he talk about that with you?
Yes.
What did you know about where Chandler was going to
He
school
was
and what he was doing?
lying the whole time. If you're not fully up to date on this case, that was the thing that blew this whole thing out of the water. He was never in school. He was lying to his girlfriend, his parents, making up fake emails, lying to himself, probably to friends. He was never in school.
He was taking classes
Is BOZE live? Absolutely, baby. Right here in the flesh. Gooby.
online. through MATC for UW, and it was for an IT degree.
Would Chandler talk a lot about school with you?
Often.
What kind of
For
things would
what?
you talk about?
What? He would just randomly
When we'd
lie.
have tests or homework that we were doing.
Going in this year, did he ever show you any sort of like work he was doing for school? Any projects, things like that?
He showed me some coding he was doing once.
For a class? You said he was going online. Did Chandler ever physically go there as far as you knew? For a class?
I don't remember.
This is the Chandler Halderson case, guys. No, he never did.
This
He never went to
spring,
campus.
going into the summer, prior to everything happening, did you believe Chandler was going to MATC?
Yes.
Did you ever see his
Colette says, this lawyer is so gentle and sympathetic with her. It's low-key healing my trauma. Dude, we love this prosecutor. If you haven't already seen the original video from it, it's been on my channel like 2 weeks ago or so. This prosecutor is so good. I love seeing everyone's approach. Like Juan Martinez, for example, from the Jodi Arias case. That one was cutthroat. Julie, that was an angry mother, okay? Every prosecutor's got a different approach. Also, if you haven't seen it, the Dark Knight shooter case, I think that attorney's name is like Richard B or something like that. I'm not sure. He was a rock star too. Maybe, dude, should we rewatch that? Because I feel like I watched that prosecutor when we had like maybe like 500 or 1,000 viewers. It was still pretty big, but that was a really good one. Maybe we should just watch some court stuff today.
his grades? Did he ever share his grades with you or transcripts or anything like
No.
that?
No.
No, he didn't show me.
Do you know how close he was to graduating?
One class away, I believed.
Did you and Chandler ever talk about him working with the police at all, with scuba diving or anything like that?
With the DNR.
Sure. Tell me about that.
He told me he would scuba dive for the DNR and then sometimes help out the police through the DNR.
Oh my God.
Did he say what he would do for them, like specifically?
Scuba diving,
She just really thought this was
look
a
in the
great
lakes for
guy.
stuff.
Was this like a job or a volunteer thing? What was your understanding from Chandler?
I believe it was a job.
And did he have this throughout the time you were dating?
During the summer.
Were there ever times where Chandler would go to that job, as far as you knew, or need to schedule time to be there?
Yes.
How would that come up?
He would just tell me he had to be on call days and we couldn't hang out those days, or he would only have select time to hang out or else he'd be on call.
So there'd
Nah,
be
he
times
was
you couldn't
playing
hang out because he would say,
What do you guys think Chandler was doing during those times that he lied to his girlfriend and said that he was on call, or he had to do errands, or he had to do this? What do y'all think he was doing? Oh, closest porn. That's, that's the thing too. Probably playing video games. Probably. This is Grant Amato's little brother. Straight up. This is him.
he was on call.
Crying
How
in bed.
often would that come up in your relationship?
I don't remember.
Okay. But it came up?
It did.
Okay. Did you ever see Chandler with any sort of scuba diving equipment, oxygen tanks, those flippers that people put on, anything like that?
No.
Dude. Oh my God.
Did you believe he worked at this dive team job back at that
Yes.
time?
Yes.
At some points in the past, year and a half or so, did Chandler get a job with American Family Insurance?
Yes.
And what did Chandler tell you about that, or what did you know about what he was doing?
That it was an internship to help graduate through school, and he'd be doing stuff with solar panels and laying out plans for companies, going through American Family. And
Dude, he was such a liar.
So it was an internship. Was it eventually a job or something else, like where he got paid?
A paid internship, I believe.
Okay. Did he ever show you any of his work that he was working on?
He showed me a plan on a whiteboard that he was drawing up.
When you say a whiteboard, what do you mean by that?
Like,
Dude, straight up, she trusted him. And he just kept lying. Like, that's it. She just trusted him. Like, she believed that this guy came from a great family. He had a great future ahead of him. She thought he was cute, thought he was nice. You know, he's got extracurricular things. He's going to college. He's got a job. He's dog sitting. She just thought this was the best guy ever.
a whiteboard that you hang up in your home
Like-
or see in school.
Okay. And what was on that whiteboard that he was showing you, if you remember?
A building and where they wanted to place the solar panels and how it was by a highway, so it would be a safety hazard for the direction they want to point it in because of the angle the sun could be blinding the drivers.
Yeah, he faked having a career in tech.
Did you seem excited about this project when he was talking to you about it?
Yes?
By the way, chat, I know this part is a little bit slower. We'll probably end up cutting a lot of this out of the YouTube aspect of it, but I mean, I'm still curious. We got some closing statements from both sides that I definitely want to watch, but I want to see a little bit more of this, and then we'll watch. Oh, maybe we should skip ahead to part 2.
Okay.
We'll see. Hold on.
Did Chandler have
Trying
any
to
issues
condense 4.5 hours of content down to like 2 hours tops.
with pay at American Family Insurance and getting his paychecks?
Yes.
Tell me what you know about that from Chandler.
That there was
All
something.
right, hold on. I just saw text messages in the other one. I'm closing this one down. I think they're just gonna keep lying for a little bit. I think he's just oh. Chazzle Dazzle? That was not his username. Would you leave me even if it doesn't work? Worded bad, but you understand. Okay, hold on. I need pull up the text messages. Oh, pull up. Yep, pull up. There we go. They're hand her the text messages. Looks like they're handing her the text messages. This is me getting ready to look at the text messages. He went by Chaz in high school. Oh, God, dude. Matt said, wait, no, I want to watch. Hey, me too. Nosy Bozy's back at it.
July 1st and July 7th between you and Chandler?
Correct.
Oh,
I'll move 516 into evidence.
okay.
Any objection?
Move 516
Same
to
objection as the text messages.
Same ruling that it is received, may be
Receive
published.
them.
I
Receive
need you
them.
to tell us about Snapchat. I don't know what everyone's understanding is. Everyone's of different ages. Some people have a Snapchat, some people don't.
Modern
Just in
cases!
general, what is Snapchat?
Modern cases! Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, okay? Listen, this is True Crime for people with ADHD. You should also subscribe to my Twitch channel. Where are you? What are you doing, okay? Listen, this is the only place that you're going to find true crime cases where the ex-girlfriend is screenshotting his Snapchat location where he buried the fucking bodies. Modern True Crime. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel.
Snapchat is a social media app where you can send photos with titles, or you can send messages through the chat part of the app.
And what is one of the features of Snapchat that it's primarily known for that text messages maybe aren't?
They aren't generally saved.
They delete, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a way to manually save messages or photos on Snapchat?
Yes.
And is it easy or is it hard?
I find it easy.
What do you do?
Okay.
You hold down the text and you select save.
That's like somebody asking me when I was 12, can you find anybody on Facebook and is it easy? I find it easy. I can find anything and anyone. Dude, I was one of those kids. Like, yo, wait, one in the chat, if you're like an internet person that can find anything on anyone at any given time, 2 in the chat if you just not really like that. I'm a hard one. I'm that friend that when somebody needs to find something, like they reach out to me, okay? My best friend's like the same way. She like found her boyfriend's dad, all this crazy stuff. Look, we will find you.
And if you save the message, if you're communicating right now with Snapchat with one of your friends and they send you a snap, if you click on it and look and do nothing, that message will delete, right?
Sometimes.
Okay. But if you could manually save it, right? By putting your finger down and saving it.
Correct. Or if you change the settings to delete within 24 hours.
Right.
Okay.
Sometimes when you snapped with Chandler, one or both of you would save the messages.
Correct.
And those messages are what we're looking at here, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Would you say Snapchat is your primary form of communication with Chandler?
One of them.
Okay. So I'm going to display 516, and we'll start going through some things here in a second. But we left one photograph on just to prove that's you, right?
Correct.
Okay. And we'll redact the rest.
If you have a common first and last name, it gets difficult to find info. Listen, let me tell you something. You guys know when you get those random emails that are like, there's been a security breach. You should change your password or your information has been leaked, but nothing ever happens. There are people that can go online and purchase those lists and get all of your information. Like, it's really not that there's so many different ways that people can find all of your information. It's actually pretty unreal. And just because nobody's bought it yet and hasn't entered your password doesn't mean that your account's not compromised. People can find all of your shit online.
And when, for obvious reasons, we don't want everything coming out. But on July 1st of 2021 at 7:11, you get a message, right, from Chandler?
Correct.
What does it say?
How do you sleep?
And you say, I slept good. How did you
In the
sleep?
text.
And how does he respond?
I hardly slept.
Okay.
Is this the day of the murders? Hold on, I need to know. Chandler, guys, we need to be Chandler Halderson timeline. I think they were killed on the 6th of July. Okay, so events leading up to it. July 1st, this is the date. Oh, so July 1st is the day that Chandler told his parents he last saw his parents, told me to help pack. Let's see, when is the actual... He reported his parents missing on the 7th. But when was the actual murder complaint made? I'm walking away from the Wisconsin River. So I think he actually... Dude, I think he did it on the 1st. Wait, watch, somebody in chat already said it. Yo, Sutra, thanks so much for the 10 gifted. I appreciate that. Listen, any and all gifts accepted today. I will take them all. Appreciate you. I think it was the 4th. It seems like it might have been the 1st, guys. Let's see, though. We'll see. Let's see if we can figure it out from the text.
He gives you kind of a emoji face. You say, I'm
from
sorry, D.
Chazzle Dazzle.
Why? Can you read Chandler's message back to you after you say why?
I don't know. Stuff hasn't really been going well for me lately, so I'm trying to plan for the next thing to fuck me over.
Okay.
That's what he said, Lexi, you gotta watch
After
this
that-
shit. It's wild, bro.
Chandler sends another message, and we'll try to get it in the right spot. And can you read that?
Yeah, I just had a great future planned and it's falling apart.
Dude, he says this, I think... Okay, one in the chat, if you guys think that he's already killed his parents at this point, where he says, yeah, I had a great future planned and it's falling apart. 2 in the chat, if you don't think that it's happened yet. I could be wrong, but to me, it sounds like he did it and now he's victimizing himself about what's going to happen next, even though he just did it. But listen, I react here, okay? I tried to Google it a little bit. We got a ballpark. Looks like he reported his parents missing on the 7th, but I'm not exactly sure what happened. Let's keep it going.
And you say, no, it's not. You're going to be okay. You're reassuring him, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You respond, you're going to go to Florida. You even said it's probably just the brace.
The brace. Oh, it's probably just the brace. Because if you guys forgot, after he lied to his parents and told them that he was going to Florida, the next day he tripped and fell. And he hurt himself so badly that he could barely walk. His arm was broken. He had to wear a neck brace. He was slightly paralyzed. And now his dreams of going to this job were ruined. Well, that injury was all fake. So even Kat talking about the brace is just not real.
Probably just the brace, right?
Correct.
Okay. He says, thanks. You say, of course, I love you, and I'm here to keep your booty in check.
Correct.
Now we're up to 7:55 in the morning. Right after you say that, what does Chandler say back to you?
There's a bit of a glare.
Sure.
Thank you. Will you leave me even if it doesn't work? Worded bad, but you understand.
Dude, he's spiraling.
respond,
Why
"No,
is he
I wouldn't."
spiraling? Thanks,
And
Maddie.
he says,
I won't stop trying.
okay.
No, let's make this clear. They were not in cahoots about anything. Kat genuinely did not know any of this stuff was a lie. She trusted Chandler and she believed him, and he spun an entire world of lies before murdering his parents.
You say, like, Florida would be so dope and, like, nice, but I'm not dating you for money. I love you tons.
Correct.
What does he say?
I love you a ton too. By the way, I'm not giving up. I'm just worried.
How long were they dating?
You
She's
say,
so supportive.
Don't worry. Love, don't be worried, love. It'll work out.
Correct.
And he says, thank you, B.
Why do they keep calling each other B?
You say, of course. Now we're up to 8:30. He says, you helped me a ton. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Other than these messages, these Snapchat messages that morning, were you and Chandler communicating by phone or anything else around 7:30 into 8:30 in the morning on
B
July
short for
1st of
babe.
2021
Okay.
that you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. Now that's a weekday, and I think you said you were working that day.
Correct.
About what time do you go to work?
(8:30) since I was working close.
Okay. And if you had to work at 8:30, is that what time you would leave or what time you'd get there?
I have to be clocked in by 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah, she had a real job, bro.
What time would you have to leave where you're staying then to get to work by 8:30?
Around 8 o'clock, 8:10.
Okay. When you're at work, I think we all maybe send an occasional message or two, but are you frequently on your phone a lot at work or only when you just have a second?
When I have a minute.
Okay. Do you have a busy job?
I do.
Okay. At some point that day, you and Chandler switch back to texting as well,
I
right?
know. Frankie, that's what I was thinking too. Like, their conversations are like super duper shallow. It's just like, you helped me a ton. I love you a lot. Thanks, B. Like, I'm so clingy. I'd be texting my boyfriend back like, do you even like me? I'm sorry. The mic was hot. Is anyone else like that? I would be like, what? Do you even like me? Like, what? Why are you even here? Say more. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Shh. Okay. You're good now. Okay, you're good now. Have fun.
Correct.
Okay, I'm showing you what's been marked in this case as exhibit number 515.
Exhibit number 5, more text messages. Load us up. Load them up.
Just look at a message. Can you tell me what date these messages are?
July 1st, 2021.
All right, and this appear to be a couple pages of text messages between you two?
Yes.
Correct.
All right, I'll
Sorry.
move 515 into evidence.
Any objection other than the standing objection?
No.
They are received. And they may be published.
Okay.
All right. Maybe try one more light on, Judge, and we'll see if we can't get this.
Let's get one more light, Judge.
Don't think that.
That's
Beautiful.
worse than ever. Oh,
Oh, it's
there we
worse.
go.
Okay.
All right. Can you see that cat or no?
Correct, I can.
Okay.
Okay, read it to his cat.
I'm going to try on my end to fix things up a little bit. Starts with just you talking, and eventually there's a message from Chandler on the 1st at 1:02 p.m. And I'll move it down so it's out of the light. But can you tell me what that message says?
Sorry, forgot to tell you, but Mom did okay you hanging out with us all weekend.
Sorry, and I think I said Chandler. I meant you. Right. Did you send that message or did Chandler?
I did.
Okay. Your mom okayed you guys hanging out.
Oh, okay, okay.
Correct.
Was that at the farm and things like that?
Correct.
Okay. Chandler responds, awesome. And what do you say back to him?
Yeah, so convince your parents hard.
And that was at 1:03 on the 1st. What did you mean by that? Convince your parents hard?
Okay, well,
I meant to convince his parents to let us hang out.
that is an uncomfortable text to have to read in the middle of a murder trial. And it's like so crazy because the defense will really try to fuck you here. Like, imagine the defense being like, yeah, she was in on it the whole time. Like, that's what she meant by this text message. You know what I mean? That's like stressful for her to even have to read.
Why would he need to convince his parents based on what you knew at the time? What was going on?
He wasn't able to hang out around that time.
Yeah. And then at 1:03, just after that, Chandler sends you a message. What does that say?
I overheard that they might go to the cabin with their friends, but IDK.
I don't know if by now it's already happened.
So that was kind of following up on the possibility of the cabin from yesterday on the 30th. There it's kind of more conclusive.
Correct.
Okay.
He's already killed him. Okay, I believe that.
What time did you get off work? What time did you get off work, Jenna?
So he literally murdered his parents, stayed up all night, and at 7 or 8 in the morning, he's like texting Kat, victimizing himself, talking, like asking her if she's gonna be with him forever.
Earlier, if you know, what time did you get off that day?
5 o'clock.
People are crazy.
When you get home that day, do you remember what you did?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you and Chandler FaceTime a lot?
Yes.
Kind of a weird question, but I have to ask. Did you sometimes FaceTime when you guys were showering?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes you take screenshots of Chandler.
Yes.
You took a lot of screenshots on your phone, didn't you?
Wait.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sure.
Okay, wait, hold on. What does
Funny
it
it's
say
been
about
marked
the
in this
show?
case is 517. Is that one of those screenshots?
Yes.
Did you take that night,
They're not gonna, like,
sometime after you got home from work?
show his weenie,
while
are they?
FaceTiming with Chandler?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move
Hold on.
517 into evidence.
Hold on, guys. They're admitting 570 into evidence. I need to screen
Any
this.
objection?
No objection.
It's not a nude photograph, too, I'll note for the court.
Hey, dude, I would do that with my BF too. I mean, shit, I would too. I'd be predatory, bro. We talking to my boyfriend like, turn around, shorty. But we hate Chandler here.
Are you sorry?
Let me just see.
It's above the waist.
Oh, understood. It is received, it may be.
I tell that man,
Just
do a
briefly,
spin,
that's
baby.
Kind of the FaceTime setup,
Hold on.
but that's Chandler. We're at the Halderson home.
Yes.
Oh,
Background,
God.
is that
Dude,
a-
it is like a picture of him in the shower, but like,
Joe
hold
Mess-
on.
Could you read out him looking?
Okay. I
We're
needed
at
to
the
screen it
Halderson
real
home.
quick.
Time after you got home from work, well, face.
Yes.
Dude, I'm not kidding. Y'all don't do that. I tell that man, do a spin. I'm trying to see that thing take flight. Okay. Stop! Okay. Stop.
Sometimes you take.
There's more evidence coming.
When you get home that day, do you remember what you did?
Guys.
I don't remember.
Thanks, hex code.
June.
You know what? I feel like I earned that one because I almost feel like I made him laugh. Hold on. I'm trying to, dude, guys, I'm trying to figure out where we left off. Hold on. I overheard they might be going to the cat. I think it's about here. Okay. So basically the prosecutor said, did you guys screenshot photos of each other when you were in the shower?
Sometimes you take screenshots of Chandler.
Yes.
You took a lot of screenshots on your phone, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm showing you it's been marked in this case as 517. Is that one of those screenshots?
Yes.
Dude,
Did you
she
take
like
that
leaned
that night
away from that
sometime after you
picture
got
of
home from
Chandler.
work?
Oh my
No
God.
FaceTiming with Chandler?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move 517 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It's not a nude photograph, too, I'll note for the court.
Are you sorry?
It's above the waist.
Oh, understood. It is received, it may be published.
And just briefly, that's kind of the FaceTime setup. But that's
Okay.
Chandler.
Yeah,
And
she's
the
disgusting.
background, does that appear to be the shower at the Halderson home?
Yes.
Okay, they have a
What's-
big shower
What's
in
on
that
there?
house.
Yes.
Okay. And it's Chandler looking into his phone and you snap the screenshot.
Pardon?
You snap that screenshot?
Yes.
Okay.
She didn't even know.
Did you have any plans to hang out with Chandler that night as far as you remember?
Not that night.
Okay. But you were communicating a lot?
Correct.
Okay. Later that night, at some point, Judge, if you could turn the lights on just briefly for the co-witness.
Okay.
Here's some additional messages. Around 8:30 at night, Chandler sends you a couple of messages. Could you just, there's one with an emoji, but could you read out the two that have text?
Baby, I need you.
Baby, I need you.
Yes.
Did you know what that was in reference to?
I don't recall.
Okay. And later, there's discussion of him looking at your Snapchat location and wondering where you were.
Correct.
Okay. And I think I said 8, but it's in military time, so that would be 6:30-ish
I'm
or
like,
so.
where is this going?
Which exhibit were those in, counsel?
Sure. I was referencing Exhibit 516.
Thank you.
After, so around 6:30 or so, when Chandler sends you the message, baby, I
Wait,
need you.
do you guys know? Was this on the how many days are in June? 30 days have, no. 30. 30. There are 30 days in June. Was this on June 30th? Before those text messages on the 1st?
Do you recall talking to him after that, verbally, on the phone?
Thank you, chatters. It's 30 days.
I don't recall.
Now, we talked, I think I mentioned something about Snapchat locations. Does another feature of Snapchat have anything to do with your location?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, is there a location feature on Snapchat with your friends that you can look at their location?
Yes,
Correct,
Mia, it's
yes.
the Chandler
Tell us about
Halderson
that.
case. We're watching a couple different
You can
things.
select certain friends to view your location, or anyone who is on your friends list can view it.
In your and Chandler's relationship, was that something you did with each other?
Correct.
All right, we got a lot of cat stuff. I'm ready because we still, dude, guys, we still have quite some time to see them rip Chandler a new butthole. Okay, let's investigate. Wait, I'll keep playing this for a second.
And was it reciprocal? Both of you did that?
Correct.
When this was going on during your relationship, was it your intention that anytime you'd open Snapchat, you'd, in theory, be able to see exactly where he was?
Correct.
And him the same for you?
Correct.
Okay. Were you aware at all of what Chandler's plans were the night of the 1st, when you were either FaceTiming while he was in the shower or any conversation? Did he talk at all about what he was doing that night?
Thought he would be taking care of the
I'm looking for the other brother.
dogs and was gonna make dinner.
Did he mention, or do you recall if he said anything about where his parents were on that day?
He said they were doing a grocery pickup.
Okay.
May I have a break?
You may.
Yes, you
This
may.
is a good time to take a break.
Yes,
I think
you
we
may,
can.
Kat.
We're approaching, I try to do them every 90 minutes.
Yes, you
We're
may.
pretty close to.
All right. I kind of, dude, I wanted to see this thing with the brother, but where did it go? We've seen some of his interrogation. I
Morning,
mean,
Detective.
no surprise, guys. He's an idiot. Let me leave this up while I'm looking for a little of the,
Going up there.
I believe 3. Do it, right?
Yeah, I suppose about.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this?
Right outside.
They are received.
Oh my god, it's a Chandler Halderson fucking phone call! How do I find all of these things? Okay. So next, let's listen to this little segment. It's coming from Detective Brian Stunk. I guess he took the phone call with Chandler, or maybe he analyzed a little bit. And there's some of his interrogation in here. If his interrogation isn't interesting, we'll cut it all out. But let's collect a little more information before we get to the closing statement.
Move to publish 114.
You may.
A little confused. I got 2 squads parked.
Okay,
right
so Chandler Halderson shows up on the 7th of July and basically, or I think it was the 8th, something like that, and reports his parents as missing, even though he was the person clearly involved. After this, the police department starts to keep an eye on him as he's the prime suspect, but they don't really want to let him know he's the prime suspect. So the call that we're about to listen to is when Chandler calls the police department being like, hey, any reason why these squad cars are outside of my house? Should I be worried? Am I a suspect? And they're basically got to be like, no, Chandler, what are you talking about? Let's take a look.
You may.
Let's take a look. You're going to put me on your TV? Hey, girl, 2 hours down and another 10 to go.
I got.
Sorry, I keep talking over it. We're 2 hours into the 12-hour stream, folks.
114.
You may.
Little confused. I got 2 squads parked right outside my house, and they're not really canvassing. They're just kind of sitting there. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the area doing canvassing, and they're also probably doing a shift change right now, getting our second shift crew on around 3:30.
Oh, there's 4 now.
Yeah, Chandler.
Something going on that we need to know?
Well, they're probably doing reports. They're probably doing shift change. You know, they've been going around trying to get a hold of neighbors, so I'm wondering if they're
Yo, he's so worried.
in the area trying to catch people now that they're coming home from work. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to any of them in just a little while.
All right. Well, any news? With my brother, I haven't heard from him.
No, as far as I know, they're still on their way up north. A couple-hour drive, so he's probably halfway into it, right?
Yo, Phallic, thanks for the 5 gifted. Lots of gifters today. Appreciate you guys. Damn, might have to do some more 12-hour streams. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I suppose about.
Yeah. Any news on your end at all? Have you gotten any phone calls, text messages?
Gotten any messages other than from concerned parents? I can't.
Yeah, because they're worried about you.
A hold on my mail?
They are a parent and you are their demographic.
Okay.
Is that normal? Are you guys getting it at least?
No, we don't put a hold on people's mail. I've never heard of that happening before.
There's a hold on my mail. There's a ticket in there. All mail held at the station is what it says.
Okay. Yeah, nothing done by us, that's for sure.
Because I'm going to need my medical bills.
Yeah.
Is he
No,
okay?
we wouldn't put a hold on people's mail, and typically only the people that live at the address can do that. Did your parents put a hold on the mail? Does it say who put the hold on the mail?
I can go check, I suppose.
Okay.
Do you know of anything?
Dude, Chandler is such a weenie.
I don't know. It's kind of stressful. Sorry, so there's nothing new going on?
Not that I'm aware of.
And like that level of entitlement that he thinks that like they're just gonna share all of the information with him. You know, he knows he did it. He knows he did it. And it's like he just takes that piece out of his mind and is like, well, maybe the cops will tell me what's going on because they were my parents. But I don't understand. I don't get it. I hate it.
Yeah. Who's there? Are you at home still right now, obviously? Because you're saying they're outside. Who's there with you?
Yeah, no, they're not with me. They're just 4 squads just parked outside.
Okay. Who was just talking in the background, Kat?
Yeah, Kat's over with me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
No, I mean,
Kat
I can
believed
definitely
he didn't
give you
kill
a
his
call or
parents.
message you,
Wait.
I guess, depending.
We need to go back to that day. Kat has more information. Sorry, guys. This is a whole ass storyline. We need to watch the Catherine Melner part 2 because I didn't know that she was over there after the police started coming to his fucking house, bro. Okay, let's play a little bit more of this.
And what time are you planning on going to dinner?
I'm not sure, but
Okay.
pretty soon here.
Is it cool to call
I was
you?
hoping to hear from... What was that?
Is it cool to call you whether you're at dinner? Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'll keep
you
you
call me
posted if I
anytime.
hear anything. I mean, obviously with the mail, that has nothing to do with us at all. I've never heard of a detective or law enforcement agency holding somebody's mail. You know, and then as far as everybody in the area, you know, you kind of had to figure we were going to be in the area all day today.
Yeah, I was just wondering why there were 4 cars instead of the canvassing.
Yeah.
Any news about that blue house?
Oh,
with
he's
the
gonna
big
try
cameras?
to misdirect. Oh, he
The
wants
blue
info on
house with the
that.
big cameras. Is that the one across the street?
Yeah, across the street, kind of in the corner. It's a newer house.
I haven't talked
I
to...
stopped by their house.
Yeah, I have a detective that's getting footage from the area. I don't know exactly which houses he's gotten video from yet. But yeah,
Sounds
there's...
like they downloaded all of it and already have it at IT.
Oh, okay. So he's probably reviewing it now.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes time to go through those things. You figure you can only fast forward so much.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right, well, I'll give you a holler if anything pops up.
Dude, after this, do you guys want to watch I Survived? I'm just, this is fun now. Just because we can do whatever we want today. We still kind of been about another hour and a half of Chandler Halderson. Maybe that's what we'll do next.
You know, and I'll give a call around and just kind of get a briefing from people up in the area.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks, Chandler.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Cry, baby. Thanks for that 10.
Your exit position has been updated.
A couple of questions. Solve one thing right away. This issue with the mail, what was that about?
Chandler told me that he received a ticket in the mailbox that the mail was being held.
Sure. And did you later learn that that actually was true?
I did, yeah. Law enforcement does not have the ability to hold somebody's mail. So I didn't know exactly what was going on there. Throughout the investigation, we did learn that the Windsor post office had heard of the missing people, Bart and Krista Halderson, and put a hold on the mail for them at that point.
Oh my God.
It had nothing to do with us.
Oh my God. That's actually really, it's not funny, but that's like, he thought it was the police, but it was the, it was the U.S. Postal Service that was basically like, oh, they're missing. Well, let's hold on to all their, you never know if there's checks or, people could just be breaking into their mailbox. That's so nice. I'll suck your toes if you gift me a sub. Ashlyn, I have to ban you for 10 minutes. You cannot come into my channel and then offer sexual favors in exchange for a subscription to the channel. You can't do that. You can't. Goodbye. Now, if you want to just come in here and be respectful, crack a few jokes like everybody else, you can't be in here sucking nobody's toes. For $5, you cannot do that. I want you to be your best self.
There were parts of that conversation where Mr. Halderson asked about increased police presence or whether something new.
I'm gently blowing your ear for a sub. That's sexual too. No sexual favors today, okay? Not today. We're just trying to watch the stream and hold hands. People been gifting subs anyways. So if you just sit there and you wait patiently, you ain't got to suck nobody's toes. I don't know why people be coming out the gate like this, just ready to suck on some toes. Just chill. Respectfully. Thank you. I don't even think you want the sub. I think you just woke up this morning like... Okay, can we watch the case? I'm making myself laugh today. Oh, man. Okay, I don't know who runs BOZE Hub, but they're eating today, bro.
Happened in the case. At that point, something new had happened in the case, right?
Correct.
Why did you not tell him that, and why did you answer the questions in the way you did?
So at that point, keep in mind, we had just received the information that a torso was located in the area that Chandler was at the farm. So in the command post, we're trying to arrange a lot of different things. A lot's going on. We're trying to, control that crime scene out there. We're trying to get our crime scene investigators back to the area. I'm trying to get detectives out in the area of the Oak Springs home.
Okay. No, take me to the interrogation. I skip around so much, but it's for your own good. Yo, Argo, thank you for that. Baby spinach, appreciate y'all. Look at me. Look at me. You don't need Adderall when you're here. I'll keep your attention. We'll just keep skipping around until I'm interested. And also, it is a murder trial. I'm not saying parts of this are not interesting. It's just very, very long. So we're trying to get to the things where we're going to get the most information, okay? All right, let's check out a little bit of his interrogation. This guy is like one of the most lackluster people I've just ever encountered in my whole life.
A little bit about your parents going missing, right, Krista and Bart? Before we get started, just because you're up here, okay, so I'm just going to read you your constitutional rights, okay? So it's a Dane County issued card that they give us. So I'll just read them to you right off the card, okay?
Weirdo.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before questioning and to have a lawyer present with you during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you at public expense before or during any questioning if you so wish. Yes. July 7th,
Okay.
to ask for the public expense before or during any questioning if you so wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop the questioning and remain silent at any time you wish, and the right to ask for and have a lawyer at any time you wish, including during the questioning.
Okay.
So then the only two questions I asked were, do you understand?
Yeah,
your
I
rights?
understand, and I am willing to make a statement.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Are you gonna tell the truth?
Like we already said, I talked to you yesterday. So today is July 8th. It's about 5:11 now. We started talking at 5:08. So yesterday, July 7th, I came to your house where you live with your parents, Bart and Krista Halderson. And the reason I was there is you had gone to the Windsor Police Department and reported them missing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't go to the department. I went to their office break room.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't matter!
In the same building.
I think it's mixed in with the city hall.
Your parents were missing, so you went to the break room? You walked into the break room at the police department and said, "Excuse me, officer, can you please help me find my parents? They were missing for a couple days after you finished eating your lunch." Is that what he did? He went into the break room?
Okay. But nonetheless, a deputy came and spoke to you. Okay. So you're reporting your
Kai, I
parents
want to see
missing. We
that.
got some information from you yesterday. We've been following leads last night, working today to, go through different things, just trying to locate them, right? So I guess if you want to start with, let's just go back to last Wednesday.
Wednesday, I was with my dad.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Somebody said that he made a statement. Okay, guys, I'm going to skip the interrogation footage because honestly, we've seen some of it in that chapter and Mike didn't pull out that much. So I'm just going to this man is the most wet napkin thing I've ever his text messages to Kat were bland. His lies were bland. If you're gonna lie this much, make yourself fucking cool or something. And then his interrogation is just so, I don't know. I mean, I need some justice. That is what is required of me. Okay. I think in the other sections of evidence with detective testimony. Okay, so we are skipping. Okay, guys, chat. I'm going to play some lo-fi and run an ad really quick. I've got to just scrub these for blood real quick. Just doing a little blood scrub. And then we're going to watch these closing statements. Because there is a picture somewhere online of Bart Halderson's torso. So we need to... Just give me a minute. Okay, cuties, are we ready? Sorry, that's my auntie energy. Oh, by the way, I'm very excited. Wait, is it next Tuesday? Not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday coming up, I am going out to go meet my nephew. It's like my stepsister's kid. But even though she's not my blood sister, this is still my nephew. And I'm very, very excited because I always wanted to be auntie. And so I'm going out and I'm helping my sister move. And I took care of like my parents' hotels and stuff like that because we ain't got a whole lot of money. But I do YouTube stuff now. So I'm very, very excited to go take care of my nephew and take care of my family and have a nice couple of days. But don't worry, we won't be missing stream. I was just telling you guys because I'm very excited. Okay. Yes, my auntie energy. I cannot wait. Like, I'm picking out all of my auntie outfits. I need to go auntie shopping tomorrow. I'm in San Antonio. I'm gonna be there with like my little hat on, my little glasses, and I'm gonna be like, give me the baby. I can't wait. Okay. All right, are we ready? Great. Excellent. Fantastic. Wonderful. Dude, I need somebody to make TikToks for me from live stream clips. I feel like we always have so many dumb moments, but I don't know how to make those. If anyone wants to make those, you should DM me on Twitter. Okay. Let's hop into this. Wait, is this the right one? The prosecution closing argument. Woo! Little Chandler Halderson part 2. Just when you least expect it. By the way, guys, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to follow the channel or subscribe if you really, really enjoy it. This is a true crime. It's a dedicated true crime stream. We do true crime every Monday here, unless like, I don't know, I'm like, like sick or something like that. And I'm like, I can't do it. But usually we are here. Today we're doing an extra long stream. Usually it's at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're about 2.5 hours into our 12-hour true crime live stream today. So if you're enjoying this, make sure you follow the channel. Otherwise, I'm going to freak out. So for you guys that are not super familiar with this process, basically we're getting to the end now where the prosecution has presented all of the evidence that they have. The defense team has tried to refute as much evidence as the prosecution has. We're going to go into watching the final statements. If you watched the previous YouTube video, you're probably kind of up to date on all of this. But this is kind of what wraps everything up. So this is going to be pretty long. We're going to be watching the closing statements from both sides, which are about 30 minutes, as well as the sentencing where somebody said that Chandler Halderson actually speaks. We've seen him speak. It hasn't been that interesting, but we'll see what happens. Just a heads up, guys. This one is about to detail a lot of evidence. It's about to... Dude, we thought that the evidence in the first one was real. Nah, dude. Every frame of this is just them getting it and getting it. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Give me the state. Give me the state. Give me the state. All right, let's go.
So please use your collective memories as jurors to determine what you heard and what you saw.
Collective memories.
Additionally, it should be the written law that the judge just read and that you will get a copy of that should determine how you process and think of the law.
Okay.
For years, I've listened to attorneys where prosecutors have basically belittled the burden of proof and where the defense has built it up to be something that can never be overcome or could only be overcome by video. Neither of those things are true. You should look at the written law and follow the written law.
No, this is the prosecution.
Second thing I want to say is I want to apologize for all the graphic photos that you folks had to look at the last 3 weeks. I'm sorry I had to show them to you, but we had to. They were part of a crime, and because of the charges and what we have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, it was necessary for you to look at some of those photos.
Okay.
I will
Yes, if you guys subscribe to the channel, you can watch all of the old videos on demand. Like some of them are, most of them are 4 hours at least. Some of them are even a little bit longer. Do want to warn you guys that I took a little bit of a hiatus around March to February. So if you guys subscribed, you're missing about 3 weeks of streams that you would normally get. But we're back now and better than ever, okay? So yes, if you subscribe, you get the full 10-hour VOD today. You get a 4-hour one from last week. I think you get one from Tuesday the week before, and then you got lots and lots coming. Okay, I got y'all. You get at least 20 hours of content. Also, look, everyone out here talking about this lady's nipples. Maybe she likes it, okay? Maybe she likes it. Bro, we had a free the nipple movement a while ago. I think this lady doesn't give a fuck. It's not as cold in here. She knew what she wore today. Let the lady do what she wants, okay? Y'all always out here talking about something. It's a woman's body, all that stuff. And then you're going to say something about her nipples when they come up on the stream. All right now, let her do what she wants.
Beyond a reasonable doubt, it was necessary.
Tim said, damn, maybe we are 11.
I will promise, though, today I will not be showing you those anymore. There will be none of those photos in my closing. So every case that comes in is kind of like a puzzle. You have to look at it, because obviously you weren't there. But, you know, solving a case and thinking about whether or not a person is guilty or not guilty is like putting together a puzzle. And it's your job as the jury to put that puzzle together. But the question in this case, or why this case is kind of unique, is the person who committed the crime had 8 days to spread the pieces of that puzzle all over the state of Wisconsin, or at least southern Wisconsin. Now, what are the pieces of those puzzles?
Stop! Karosh just says, maybe it's a tactic. No, let the woman.
Evidence. What is evidence? It's what you saw in this courtroom and what you heard in this courtroom, testimony. People sitting on the witness stand and telling you what they knew. Before we start off going through that evidence, I want to remind you of the background of the events before July 1st of 2021. In June of 2021, Bart and Krista Halderson lived at 4595 Oak Springs Circle with their son, Chandler Halderson.
Okay.
And at that time in June, they thought that their son had an internship with American Family, although there was problems with the payment. He hadn't been working there about 6-7 months, hadn't been paid yet. They thought their son was attending MATC, that he had already earned a solar certificate there, and that he was enrolled in the IT program.
I do have to say this. If she just repeats everything that we heard in the first opening statement, it sounds like there's a lot more evidence in this. I'd probably end up skipping over the defense, but let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. We got 10 hours to kill, boys.
Program. And
I didn't say that. Hold on. Well, let's start back over.
Solar certificate there, and that he was enrolled in the IT program and was 1 class away from graduating. They also thought that he was going to soon be going to a job in Titusville, Florida at SpaceX. Now, things became a little suspicious to the father, Bart Halderson, who's an accountant. He's wondering, why is a Fortune 500 company not paying my son when he's working there?
Right.
And for over a year, he was talking to various people at Madison College or MATC about why he hadn't gotten his son's transcripts, why they couldn't get a meeting, why he hadn't received his solar certificate. He had been emailing with these 3 people, Aaron Hoover, Daniel Spieth, and Alyssa Brandt, and been communicating with them. This all kind of comes to a crescendo or to a head the day before Bart is murdered. And on that day, he has a phone call with Omar Job. He starts off this phone call.
Who was a real person?
He's angry because he thinks this college has been giving him and his son the runaround for about a year. They're not doing their job. And so he's kind of aggressive at the beginning of this call. You don't really like him until you know the whole story. And he learns during this call that his son has never earned a solar certificate, that his son is not enrolled in the IT program, that his son owes the college over $1,000, and that Alyssa Brandt, Aaron Hoover, and Daniel Spieth have never worked for Madison College. We see, and that is the background that lead us into the events of July 1st, 2021.
Okay.
On that day is started
Here we
by
go.
Chandler
We saw
messaging
these
his
text
girlfriend.
messages in Kat's interrogation.
7:26 a.m. I hardly slept.
Or testimony.
7:27 a.m. I don't know. Stuff really hasn't been going well for me lately. So I'm trying to plan for the next thing to fuck me over. We know at 7:27 a.m. his mom leaves for work. She works customer service at Zimbrick. She heads to work. We then know at 7:51 a.m. Chandler messages his girlfriend, "Yeah, I had a great future planned and it's falling apart."
It's so annoying. Sorry, I'm chewing. It is so annoying to me that he victimizes himself here because the whole victimization is based around the fact that he had a great future planned and now something has gone wrong. But he never had a great future plan. None of it was true. None of it was true. Like, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Now, what does he know at this point? His
He's a
dad
crazy
does
guy.
send him
And we don't talk
a
enough
text
about
message
crazy
the day
guys.
before saying, "I
We
spoke
just
to
don't.
Omar Job." I honestly don't know if that meant anything to Chandler or not. But things are coming to a crescendo. And what we do know is he texts his girlfriend at 1:04 p.m. I overheard that they may go to the cabin with their friends, and I don't know.
This is when it was
But I
already
don't
done.
know. And we also know that on Bart's work calendar, he has a meeting with Chandler and MATC. I don't know if Bart confronted him the night before. I don't know if Bart was going to see how long this ruse or how
Can we get a small recap? This is a really interesting case. You're actually getting the full recap right now because when the prosecution does their closing statements, they basically take all of the evidence that they presented over this, several day trial and they condense it into about a good 30 to 45 minutes. So if you're just jumping into the stream now, we're only 6 minutes into the closing statement here where you're going to get all of the information on this case. This is a case of Chandler Halderson and why he killed his parents. We're all still trying to figure it out.
elaborate this ruse was going to get. But this topic was going to be discussed, and there would be a coming to terms. We know that at 2:10 p.m.,
oh my God,
Bart texts Chandler.
Oh no, so
"I'm
they were
ready
still
whenever
alive.
you
He knew
are."
he was going to do it. He knew he was going to do it on the first, guys. He knew he was going to do it on the first. So in that text, he hadn't killed his parents yet. He was getting ready to. And at 1 o'clock, see, this text was sent at 2:10 p.m. At 1 o'clock, he went ahead and texted Kat, "I think my parents said that they're going to the cabin." He had been mustering up the courage to basically murder his parents all day. All day. That's what was happening. It happened some point on the first. And I think this is also why he said that he couldn't hang out that day to Kat.
What happened next?
No, I don't want to be on jury duty.
Well, we have to look at the evidence. There's a spent shell casing in the basement of the home. There's a bullet fragment. Noticeable. Oops.
Like that shit
Sorry.
shoot up.
Noticeable reddish-brown staining. Also test positive for Bart's DNA. That's the bullet that went through and through Bart.
Damn.
The spent casing. And that casing tested positive as being shot from the rifle that belonged to Chandler. We know that Chandler got this rifle about 2 weeks prior, and it was found in the barn on Irwin Road.
Oh, that's
We know
his
that he
actual
got
ID.
it
That's so
from his friend
weird.
Smith, and he was given a bunch of ammo. We also see evidence in the basement of a divot from Ricochet. a fresh divot. Also, blood. A quadrillion times more likely to be Bart than any other unknown person. More blood. And we know that Chandler texted his mom this. Dad's phone died. Text or call me. Remember, Dad's phone had
Oh my God. Krista Halderson's last text messages to her son that murdered and decapitated or cut her up, basically dismembered her. Basically said, hope things are going well and thinking about you, smiley face. And he looks like right before killing his dad, because his dad texted him at 2:10, he said, going well, thanks, knowing that he was going to kill Krista. Krista, not knowing that she's about to be murdered, literally just sent a smiley face to her son. And then, after he killed his dad, he texted his mother, who he was about to murder, and said, Dad's phone died, text or call me, and get soda on your way home. I have an extra hour of work. That's how he talks to his mom. Get soda on your way home. And his mom responds, says, okay, I can. These are the people he killed. These are the people he killed. I don't understand. I don't understand. I really don't. Literally just texted her son to say, hope things are going well, thinking about you. Smile, 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 smile. Mom, get me a soda. Okay, smile. That's who you murdered. God, you piece of shit.
Charger right there on the desk. You can plug your phone in and within 10 seconds send a text message. I think here there's a half-truth. Dad's dead. Dad died. Oh, and get me soda on your way home. I have an extra hour of work. We know Chandler didn't have a job. He's stalling to get his mom to take more time. Okay, I can, she says, smiley face. We know that she returns to the house at 5:12 p.m. We also know that her blood is found in the basement as well. And at 5:11 p.m.
He makes a note. No. Don't tell me he made the kill list. Do not tell me he makes a murder cleanup list. Don't tell me he made it. Don't tell me he made it. At 5:11 p.m., possibly 3 hours after the murders. No, 2 hours.
Starts writing the following note. Weekend chores. H2O2
Oh
and
my
lemon.
God, it
so
is.
That's hydrogen peroxide,
Yep.
which cleans up blood, and lemon, which is a deodorizer. Door handles. Move your shit upstairs.
Oh, into his parents' room.
Get a job. Interesting, if he would have just gotten a job, he wouldn't have had to do the prior 3.
Yeah, actually, yes.
And clean the floor. That came back in a search warrant for his Google account. We also know at 7:49 p.m., he's in the shower FaceTiming his girlfriend.
After he did it.
He then departs at 8:16 that night for Quit Trip. We see him there at the Quit Trip. There's the Volvo. There he is.
How did they have more evidence? How is there even more evidence in the Chandler Halderson trial? I don't understand. Like, in the first video, we were like, there's no way. There is no possible way. This can't be happening. And here he is. Here he is, everybody. Here he is. Oh my God, that was a jump scare.
He buys 20 pounds of ice. He arrives back home at 8:29 p.m. Then we know that somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30, the neighbor, Steve Greiber, smells a weird burning.
Attempts to
pungent
burn
burning
his parents' bodies.
that he describes like a pig roast. And you heard testimony from Fire Inspector Bill Boswell that unfortunately in his line of work, he's come across many burned bodies, human bodies, and that they do in fact smell like a pig roast. Moving on to Friday, July 2nd. We know throughout that night, and I'm not re-showing this video, but there's hours of this video. We know that we see burning in the fireplace and the garage light go on and off.
Oh my God.
All throughout the night. There it is, almost 3 a.m. Until at one point it kind of crescendos and dies down. We also know, looking at the living room of the Halderson home, that right there by the fireplace is a measuring tape. Folks, he measured the parts of the body to see if they were small enough to fit into the fireplace. And a fan, add oxygen to that fire, make it burn a little bit hotter.
He tried to burn his parents in the fireplace of the home that they purchased.
We know that it burned hot enough that it damaged the fireplace. The door shattered, and the paint is visibly peeling and bubbling.
Yeah, because of body fat, dude.
We also know that there's blood evidence. Evidence of cleanup from the luminol photos, as well as droplets of blood.
Dude, one in the chat if you would have just found a job. I mean that. I mean, like, seriously. I mean, sometimes look at these cases and look at these people, and I know some of you guys beat yourself up a lot all the time. If you were not this big of a piece of shit, come on, dude. Come on. If you would have just gotten up and got a job, you are not half as much of a piece of shit as this guy. Please be nice to yourself today. Okay? Jesus.
We know that that those stains test positive for blood, and that they test positive for Bart and Krista's DNA. There is also some DNA from Chandler. He did cut his foot. We're not disputing that. But he cut his foot in the process of dismembering and blowing and burning his parents, not from playing ball with the dogs. More blood. That's also Dad. And of course, on top of this fireplace that then is made to look all pristine with papers that date to June 23rd, not in the winter from when you would have last actually had a real fire, but from June 23rd, there's a piece of skull. And so Dr. Christina Figueroa Soto gets involved in this case. And she finds bones. She finds lots of bones. They go into this ash trap. I had never even heard of an ash trap before. Clearly, neither had Mr. Halderson. But they find a total of 230 bone fragments. She's able to say 106 of them were substantial enough that she's able to say what they were, that they were human and what parts of the body they're from. 53 from the skull or cranium, 18 from the hands.
Sorry, hold on. I missed that. I see you guys popping off right now. Someone's texting me about this moving thing. 1 second.
And so Dr. Christina Figueroa Soto gets involved in this case. And she finds bones. She finds lots of bones. They go into this ash trap. I had never even heard of an ash trap before. Clearly, neither had Mr. Halderson.
Oh my God.
But they find a total of 230 bone fragments.
What the?
She's able to say 106 of them were substantial enough that she's able to say what they were, that they were human and what parts of the body they're from. 53 from the skull or cranium, 18 from the hands.
No, this is prosecution,
24
guys.
Teeth.
Wow.
8 vertebrae.
It's crazy how much they had to do to incriminate Chandler here, but if any of us were on the jury and we saw that in the fireplace there was 106 identified human body parts and 124 unidentified bone fragments, and they suspected that the person had tried to burn heads alive in the fireplace, this is enough information for me. This is enough. The amount of evidence against Chandler Halderson is, like, despicable. Cut the trial in half and put him away, dude.
3 long bones, either from arms or legs.
God,
There's also evidence in the garage.
How is the defense gonna follow this up?
We have blood staining on shoes. That blood staining tests positive for both Bart and Krista and is identified as blood, not just touch DNA. More staining on the shoes. Bart And in the shoes, they test the inside of the shoes as well to see whose shoes these belong to. They're Chandler's. They're his size 10 and a half. Oh, and he's wearing them right there. Those are the shoes he wore. In the garage, there's an axe found. And
with blood on it. That is blood.
Axe. It's positive for human blood.
It's all over the handle, dude.
It's positive for human blood on the head.
Oh my God.
On the head of the axe is both Bart and Krista's DNA. On the hilt is both Bart and Krista's DNA. And look at those numbers.
Bart Halderson's DNA is, hold on. Okay, this would be 1,000. This would be 100,000. This would be 1,000,000. This would be 1,000,000,000. This would be 1,000,000,000,000. Is there a centennial? Is there I don't understand. What is this number? Quadrillion? Quadrillion. That's the one. What's above a quadrillion? What is it? There is a quadrillion chance that this is Bart Halderson's DNA. I'm gonna throw up. And man, it sucks. It sucks that in court cases like this, we can't say definitively, yes, this is their blood. No, this is their blood. We have to say that it was a quintillion, not even percent chance, a quintillion. It's his blood. I don't even know. Oh, God. Okay. All right.
A quadrillion times more likely to be those two than an unknown person. That's 1,000 times the world's population. And on the handle, Bart and Krista's DNA as well. We know at 7:02 a.m. that morning, that's a Friday morning of a holiday weekend, okay? July 3rd, Friday morning, a 23-year-old at 7:02 a.m. gets up, drives to Fleet Farm. Again, wearing those shoes. He buys a tarp. There's that tarp, 6x8. That tarp is later found in a trash bin at the Irwin Road property out in the woods.
I think that's the tarp with the body
he
parts in it.
He returns home at 7:31. And we see the following, throughout the day, we see the following text messages between him and his girlfriend. We're set for this. We just need ice. And now hydrogen peroxide, because I stepped on glass. Later, there's more talk, whether she will come or not. But if your mom has an extra bottle, that'd be great. And a Swiffer wet jet.
It sounds like you just killed somebody. Can you get me ice, hydrogen peroxide, and a Swiffer? It sounds like you just murdered somebody.
Okay, I do kind of, and there's more talk about whether or not Kat will be there and what time. And Chandler responds, okay, I do kind of need the Swiffer and the peroxide and stuff. Oh, and remember ice. Didn't he just buy 20?
If he made Kat bring the murder cleanup supplies, I'm gonna cry for this girl. And like, because you guys saw her testimony, she would have no idea. She had she'd been dating this guy for 2 years, and he was a rescue diver. He worked for an insurance company. There's no way that this could be that. Dude, please don't tell me that he got her to bring the stuff, bro.
20 pounds of ice less than 12 hours earlier.
Please tell me she didn't bring it.
But he needs more ice. What does he need that ice for? Well, the fireplace broke. We know there's a freezer. He bought lots of ice, and that freezer tested positive for human blood. Parts of his mom and his dad were put in that freezer. We know that night on the 2nd, one of Krista's coworkers, Daniel Croninger, came to the house. He had heard that day that Krista no-called and no-showed for work, and that is not the Krista he knew. She had worked there for several years and had never done that before, just not the type of person she was. I mean, of course, I never met her, but she seems a little type A. Like, she liked things to be in order, liked things to be a certain way, and was responsible. So he comes over, and Chandler begins to tell the tale of, yeah, they went up to the cabin, they left this morning with some mystery couple. You know, she probably just forgot to take off, even though her boss testified that she would often take off a year in advance and get the dates right, and had dates planned out in the future. But Daniel seems to be somewhat satisfied with that. Here's the problem. Krista's phone is responding to towers in her house.
Yeah, the call is coming from inside the house.
She never left that house. There are cameras on every side of that house. We know when Krista went in, and we never see her leave. This is not a whodunit, folks. That house is surrounded by cameras. We know who came and left.
We're still on Chandler Halderson. This is a long one.
And we know that her phone was found in a shoe, hidden under a shelf, behind other shoes, wrapped in tinfoil, wrapped in a paper towel.
Look at this sweet, innocent woman. Look at this sweet baby. This sweet baby woman. This is the woman that was texting him and saying, okay, I'll get the soda, smiley face. Just thinking of you, smiley face. This was her. This was her.
Dan leaves about 10 minutes later after talking with Chandler, and Kat arrives and spends the night. And they spend the night on this couch fort. You probably thought, why are they putting in evidence about that? Who cares where they slept? This is why it's important. A normal bed, a queen size, is about 5 feet wide. 2 people can sleep there really comfortably and, for the most part, not disturb one another unless you're a rather light sleeper. But Chandler has a problem. He has body parts in the basement of his home, in the freezer.
Oh my God.
What if Kat gets a hankering for some ice cream and goes in there like she had before? He needs to be able to control her that night. He needs to be able to know if she wakes up and where she goes if she does. So he builds this, a thing that has walls where you really can't get in and out of it gracefully. It's his way to know where she's at. I'm not sure if his girlfriend realizes how lucky she actually is.
Dude. Damn.
Saturday, July 3rd, 2021.
Fucked.
Kat leaves at 6:55 a.m. She has a job. And we know at 7:47 a.m., Chandler is once again up and leaving the house, headed for Roxbury. How do we know that he's headed for Roxbury? His Snapchat shows him there. Kat kind of keeps track of Chandler's location, and they snap each other all the time. She finds him there. His phone also puts him there. And he's quite close to where the remains were found.
Jesus Christ.
We also know that is an area he frequented.
Nobody wants to see this.
About a year before, standing there with a knife.
This guy.
And that white tent in the back.
You know what? Honestly, the real information is in his Discord logs. Let's be real. That, like, the real inner workings of, like, Chandler Halderson, or excuse me, Chazzle Dazzle. The inner workings of that man are all over his Discord messages, for real. And I don't even think that police know yet to start looking at that shit. Okay? Like, they're still, bro, they still out here checking through the phones. Pop open his computer and let's look at the Discord messages.
Brown, that's where they found Mom's legs. Dr. Rogalska performed the autopsy of the legs. And there's only certain things she can tell us from the limited amount of human body remaining that she was able to do an autopsy of. She can say that Krista Halderson was dismembered post-mortem, so after death. She also, looking at a totality of the circumstances, puts the cause of death as homicidal violence. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you if Krista was shot, strangled, stabbed, or something else.
Wow, and we'll never know.
What I can tell you is we have 5 bullets missing from a magazine, and we know that Bart Halderson was shot 2 or 3 times. So there are 2 missing bullets, but I don't know if she was shot. What I do know is she entered the house, and it was only Bart and Chandler there. No one else. She died of homicidal violence. manner of death, homicide. And those are legal documents that the ME has to put these determinations on. We know that Chandler arrives back home at 9:31 a.m. Later that day, he goes to Dulce's house, and he returns at 3:07 p.m. And that night, though, we know he leaves his house at 10:08 p.m. And we know he goes up to Portage along the Wisconsin River. From his house to Portage and back.
There was just too much violence to determine the cause of death. Yeah, that's possible. Mostly what it was that the bodies were dismembered, and then later he tried a couple different methods of basically getting rid of them. He tried to burn their heads in the fireplace and probably some other body parts as well. So like those parts were just significantly maimed. Like, I don't think it was a stabbing or anything, because you would have had to stab somebody like 20, 30, 40 times in order to like murder them, and that would have shown up somewhere. It was probably a bullet, they found some bullet casings. He probably shot his parents in the back of the head or something like that, but after he tried to burn the heads, this is really grim. This is my job to talk about this stuff. After he burned the heads, they couldn't really find any evidence of the bullet casing or to see like what it went through or anything. They just can't really tell. But them leaving that detail that it's extreme homicidal violence to the point that they can't even determine what the cause of death was, it just helps lend credence to the case, though, so that they can put them away.
Up in the Portage area from at least 10:37 p.m. to 11:03 p.m. Portage is along the Wisconsin River. We tried to search that area. The Wisconsin River has a very strong current. People drown there every year. We never find their bodies, and their bodies are whole. They attempted a dive. It was unsafe. We didn't find any evidence there. But I think in the totality of the circumstances, that wasn't a nighttime trip to go swimming. We know he returns at 11:30 p.m. And then we go on to July 4th. July 4th is actually the day that is the most eerie to me. Because it's like Chandler Halderson pushed pause on his crime and just lived a normal life for a day.
Yeah, he just tried to freeze the bodies for a little bit.
On July 4th, he spends the day with his girlfriend and his girlfriend's family. He goes to the farm, uses the pool, eats dinner.
That's what I wanted to, dude. I want to know his demeanor on that day. Do you guys hate if I go back to Kat's interview for a minute? Because I need to see the part 2 of it. She needed to take a break. There's all that info about how was he acting the day of. Listen, this is my stream and this is where we're going. I know this Halderson stuff is really long, guys, but we're here. Okay. Trials. Halderson. Okay. All right. Cat part 2. I just wanted all the text messages before, but let me see if I can find the spot where he starts talking about his... One second.
By the way, they seen where you got to.
Never mind, it's closed.
Oh my God. I think this is... Oh, fuck. Okay, we got it. It's about to be cat time, y'all.
He's inside, or do they go inside at some point?
Yes.
And the hydrogen peroxide?
She brought it to him!
Communication, or was there like a phone call or anything like that, or is this all you knew?
Okay.
I don't remember.
This guy's a sociopath. Chandler doesn't take the stand, but apparently he makes statements in the sentencing at the end of this. I still have a lot to go through with this Chandler video. And listen, this is probably going to end up on YouTube, but I have a feeling this bitch is going to be like 3.5 hours, okay? But look, if you guys are just tuning in, if you're kind of like, oh, I've seen all the Halderson stuff or, whatever, hey, look, watch it with me. I'm not even giving you that excuse. But either way, we are streaming for 12 hours today. So even if this is going on for another 2 or 3 hours, Just pop back in. I'm sure we'll be on to another case if this isn't your cup of tea right now. All right? I got y'all.
You respond, more talk about groceries. I'll bring spicy cheese and pickled jalapenos.
Yes.
Okay. And again, and I apologize, no one likes to see their messages probably on a giant screen, but it just, in general, you say, and Jesus, you're kind of just making a joke that you'll bring Jesus with you.
Yep.
Okay.
Did the defense try to say Kat was involved?
At 12:16, yes, please. But then quickly follows up. Can you read that last message?
But for real, if your mom has an extra bottle, that would be great. And a Swiffer wet jet.
That's what Chandler
Extra
said to
bottle,
her.
and was it your belief that he's referring to hydrogen peroxide?
Correct.
Okay. You respond almost immediately, we have both. He says thanks, and
Thanks,
to the end
B.
of
Thanks,
Exhibit
babe.
527.
Oh, my God.
Had Chandler ever asked you to bring hydrogen peroxide over before, as far as you remember?
Not that I remember.
Did you in fact bring him hydrogen peroxide?
Yes.
Where'd you get it?
From my mom's house.
You took her bottle?
Yes.
And what about a Swiffer mop?
From my mom's house.
You took that to Chandler's?
Yes.
I'm sure it's been marked in this case. It's exhibit number 528. What is that?
My mom's home.
That's your mom's?
Yes.
And is that the Swiffer?
Yes.
Is that the one you took to Chandler's?
Yes.
All right, I'll move 528 to evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
Dude, poor
Not
Kat.
anything spectacular, but police eventually came over and asked where the Swiffer was, and that's where it was, and they took a picture, right?
Yep.
Okay. The bottle of hydrogen peroxide and the Swiffer go with you as you're kind of making your way from Target to your mom's and then to Chandler's that night, right?
Correct.
Okay. When you get over to Chandler's house, do you take the bags of groceries inside, or do they go inside at some point?
Yes.
And the hydrogen peroxide?
Yes.
Okay. And the Swiffer?
Yes.
When you first go in the house that day, did you notice anything off?
There was a smoky smell.
Okay.
Oh, no, the fireplace.
Did Chandler tell you more about, did he explain why there was a smoky smell?
Because he was playing catch with Rizzo in the house, and the glass shattered in the fireplace. And so the smell got into the home.
Rizzo is a dog, right?
Correct,
Oh,
the
my
border collie.
God.
How did
And then
Chandler-
Chandler positions himself as this nice, sweet, innocent, oh, I was just playing catch with the dog and accidentally threw it too hard on the fireplace and shattered the glass, when the reality of why the glass is shattered is probably the most sinister thing that it could possibly be. Dude.
Or say the glass broke with the dog?
He was throwing the ball in the house.
Okay. Did you look into that any further? Did you go over to that fireplace and poke around?
No.
Was there in fact a glass panel broken on it?
Yes.
Alex.
You stayed the night there that night, right?
Correct.
Where did you all sleep?
She had no idea.
On the couches pushed together.
And where were those in the house?
In the lower living room by the fireplace.
Around this time, Chandler had a bedroom, right?
Yes.
Had a bed.
Why weren't they upstairs?
Yes.
Did he explain to you why you were sleeping in a kind of like a fort in the living room?
To be with the dogs and watch TV on the bigger screen.
Had you ever done that before in staying at Chandler's house?
No.
Yeah, and where are his parents?
At the time, did
This
it strike
has to
you
be
as odd?
so eerie for her in retrospect.
No.
They slept downstairs near the fireplace where he had just tried to burn their heads earlier. Like,
that room you slept in kind of the couch fort pushed together. The jury's seen it, by the way. They've seen photographs and a video. That was in the same room as the fireplace that had the broken panel, right?
Yes.
Okay. It was near the bathroom as well, right?
Objection.
Was it near the bathroom?
Questions.
You may answer that question. The question was rephrased in light of the objection.
Can you repeat it, please?
Was it near the bathroom where you were sleeping?
Yes.
Okay. That night,
Dude. I would never check out of therapy.
Do you recall anything unique or special
Ever.
about sleeping, or was it kind of a normal night other than the fort?
The girls, the dogs, Rizzo and Izzy, were riled up because of the fireworks.
Was there a TV in that room?
Yes,
Were you watching TV as you went to sleep?
yes.
Do you know whether Chandler slept at all that night, or do you not know?
I don't know.
Okay.
She was knocked out. He was up all night. Probably.
While you were with Chandler that night, did he say anything about where his parents were?
Okay, so this is where we're getting to some of the really interesting nitty-gritty information that we don't really get in the prosecution's opening or closing statements. These are all Kat's exact words of what happened and what Chandler's behavior was like the day after the murder and all the days after. So if you guys remember, this murder happened on July 1st at about 2 p.m. And now it seems like it's about July 2nd or July 3rd, where he has asked his girlfriend to bring over the cleaning supplies to clean up the blood of his parents. And then he goes on to spend a regular old day with her on July 4th. But don't forget that Chandler doesn't report his parents missing to the police until the 8th. So I'm really curious what happens in those 6 or 7 days after the murder.
Up north at their cabin.
Had you ever been to the cabin before?
No.
What did you know about the cabin?
Mrs. Halderson's father built it. There's a skull on the outside. It's by a lake. And they'd go up there often, whether to change the window panes or do work on it.
Now, you stayed there that night. You stayed in the couch fort thing in the fireplace room. The next day, did you stay there or did you leave?
I left.
Early?
Very early.
Okay. Camera showed you leaving about 6:55. Would that be about right?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, what this is essentially going to do to Kat is it's going to shatter her in a way that pretty much none of us will essentially ever experience. Like, going through therapy and realizing that your partner, like, isn't who they say they are, you know what I mean? That's one thing. But this case, I feel like why it's going to hit Kat so hard is because it's almost like the revelation that society lied to me. A guy that looks like this and is on the dive and rescue team and is going to college and was raised by nice parents is a good guy. That is what society has sold to me. And there is no explanation for this. It's almost like she'll never really get closure for why this happened, because we've been watching this trial for hours and we still don't understand either. It's very eerie. So I have no idea what she's going through. Oh, he was lying about going to college, everything. Yeah, we still on Chandler. This is long, bro. This is long. Wait, what was that?
And that day, you and Chandler continued texting a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I apologize. I just found one more set of messages I wanted to talk about from the night before. Just before you got to the house and you were doing the target pickups. Exhibit 529, is that a series of messages?
Yes, these are the
after you got off
testimonies.
work?
Yes.
All right, I'll move 529 into evidence.
Any objection other than the standing objection?
No.
They are received.
And my apologies for just going.
Sorry, this is a funny interaction. Plant's baby said, oh, this is why we say all men. And then Modern Wingfare said, we just watched a video about a woman that shot her 3 kids. Dude, you guys are funny. So basically, everyone's really fucked up, okay? It's just some people are really, 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 really fucked up. This is why This is why I get on y'all about, like, why do we put these descriptors on things? Just say these people fucking suck, bro. I don't know. That was funny. Going
backwards just a second, but before you got to Chandler's the night before with the groceries, 5:20, you tell him you're going to keep your clothes in your car. And Chandler, again, says something about peroxide. Can you read that message?
What's that? This is at 5 o'clock.
Okay, I do kind of need the Swifter and peroxide and stuff.
Okay, so that's the third time that day he had texted you about peroxide to bring it, right?
Bro, she had him in the phone as hubby.
So the next day you wake up early and you leave before 7. And like you said, you were in communication with Chandler all day. I'll show you exhibit number 531. Is that a series of messages ending on the last one on the second and then starting again on the third?
Yes.
Okay. I'm showing you it's marked as 5:30. Just in general, what is that photograph?
Chandler walking to Fleet Farm.
You know that location?
Yes.
Okay. I'll move 531 and 530 into evidence.
Any objection other than the standing objection?
Can we approach real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
What were your...
Let's go ahead a little bit. Wait, what is that? Hold on, he be showing her shit.
Hubby.
And what time is that? Where he was?
Yes.
And did you become worried or concerned in some way?
Okay.
At some point that day, after you left, did you notice that Chandler was in a... Did you look at his Snapchat map to look at where he was?
Oh my God.
Yes.
And did you become worried or concerned in some way?
Yes.
Showing it's been marked as exhibit number 532. What is that?
A screenshot of Chandler by the Wisconsin River.
Okay. And how's he labeled? What's his name there?
Hubby.
And what time is that?
8:58.
Okay. I think previously I said the second. I meant the third. We're now into Saturday. But was this taken on Saturday morning?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you take this screenshot of Chandler's location?
She thought he was cheating.
I didn't know why he was there, and so I was curious.
Did you know where this location was?
Yes.
And how did you know where this location was?
I've been there before with Chandler.
Tell us about it.
It's a little spot where we can park our car and walk down to the Wisconsin River for swimming.
Okay. How many times do you think you've been there?
Two or three times.
Dude, I wonder if she thought Chandler was with another girl, like taking another girl to the river, like trying to just like, I don't know. Hey, dude. Wait, Tig, did you reach 1,000? Really? What the fuck? Bro. And goddamn. Also, Tig taking over the #1 spot for sub gifting today with 80 for the whole month. Goddamn. Bless you, Tig. Don't forget, if you get gifted a sub, make sure you thank your sub daddy. Thank him. Thank him.
Move to publish 532.
You may.
Okay.
Was it received? Okay.
Is this that screenshot?
Dude, there's his stinky ass.
And
God damn it. I can't believe that. I cannot believe
that's
that.
the location, right?
Stop. Oh my God.
What did you do when you saw that?
Pardon?
Yeah, what did you do when you saw that location?
The Bitmoji, I know.
You took a screenshot. Did you do anything else with that information?
I asked him what he was doing there.
Okay. And what did he respond?
He was going to pick up CBD and he was passing through there.
He was passing through.
He's got a lie for everything.
Did you try to call him?
Yes.
Okay. Were you able to talk to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you recall anything else from that conversation about what he said or why he was where he was?
He was picking up CBD for the pain,
Making himself a victim.
He didn't want to tell me that he was picking up CBD because he was scared I was going to be disappointed in him.
That is such a manipulative tactic. That is so manipulative. Like, oh, I was doing this thing that's really not that bad, but I didn't want to tell you because I thought you'd be upset with me. But I'm going to come clean about the bad thing I was doing. I was getting CBD for the pain of my neck injury, and I just really needed it. I'm sorry. That is so, like, it's... I hate this. I hate this, dude. CBD is like the most innocent form of weed, basically. It's like an extracted thing from weed.
And around that time that you took that screenshot, was that when all of these messages were being sent that we looked at in this exhibit where no one was responding to you? Ending with, hey, did you pass out?
That was before I took the screenshot.
Right. Same morning, though?
Same morning, yes.
Were you having trouble communicating with Chandler that morning between 8 and 9, essentially?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, Stanley be smoking CBD all the time. He inject that shit sometimes.
Prior to, well, I said a different way. When was the last time you were at that location, that out by the Wisconsin River with Chandler, approximately?
Stanley's my cat. He doesn't really inject himself with CBD. All right, hold on. I want to skip ahead just a little bit.
Brother and his friend, and then that night, go back to Chandler's.
Okay.
Hours.
And how long of a period was he away from you dealing with that?
I don't know.
Okay.
She fell down the stairs. He laid down with her and was making sure she was okay and petting her.
Okay.
I was looking at the Greyhound.
Nice guy. Okay, it was 2:40 to go straight to Titusville. Okay, so let's see where the next level, where the next lies start.
At 11:30 on the 5th, what does Chandler text you?
Don't piss them off till we know for sure we are moving.
Like his parents?
And you respond, I won't.
Wait, let me go back a little bit.
Day, Monday, July 5th.
Yes.
Okay, I'll move 533 into evidence.
No
Any objection other than the standing objection? They are received. They may be published.
I'm going to go to the second page. In general, you're texting about work life, your work, frustrations maybe?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, as far as you knew,
okay.
Were you going to be at this job that you were at long term?
I was under the impression I would leave in August.
And where were you going to go?
Because she thought they
Down
were
to
going
Florida.
to Florida with Chandler.
11:30.
Dude, Chandler had told her that he had this great job at SpaceX, and she believed that she was going to go down to Florida, live with him, and he was going to take care of everything. He had never worked a normal job in his life.
On the 5th, what does Chandler text you?
Don't piss them off till we know for sure we are moving.
I guess her job.
And you respond, I won't.
Correct.
So she was ready to move in a month.
He says, okay. You say something else. You say, Greyhound isn't too expensive for a trip to Titusville. You say that at 11:46 on the 5th. What is that about?
Since Chandler expressed he couldn't fly down to Titusville, we were looking at alternatives for him to go, and I looked at Greyhound prices.
When you say we were looking at alternatives, who was more so looking at alternatives, you or him?
Me.
Cauliflower said, I wonder if he was planning to kill her. I don't think Chandler ever had any plans to kill Kat. However, I believe he 100% had the capacity to do so. And if there was something that he wanted that Kat did not fit into that plan, and the conversation would have been too hard for him to have because he has no communication skills, I 100% believe that he would have also murdered Kat. This is somebody that he can never be released. Ever. 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 Or if she found out. Yeah. If and when she found out. If he got away with this, he would have gotten rid of Kat just like he basically, what he did to his parents. That's what he would have done.
You?
Yes.
If Kat had walked in at the wrong
You
time,
say
he would have
Greyhound
murdered her
isn't
for
too
sure.
expensive.
Yep.
No pressure, just saying.
Correct.
You read what Chandler says?
Nope, 870 for a straight shot to Orlando.
And you respond, what? All this
don't
occurring
think
just before the
that's
noon hour on
true.
Monday. And Chandler
$800 for a
says,
Greyhound?
Uber is $200 to Titusville, meaning the Greyhound plus the Uber. And you say it was $240 to go straight to Titusville. What are you looking at when you're doing this?
I was looking at the
Greyhound
website.
Let's look it up right now. Wait, let's
So
see what it
you
is.
thought it'd be about $240. What did Chandler text you?
So like $1,000 to get there with not much of my stuff.
You respond, WTF, where am I? Or he responds, what, WTF, where am I looking? And you say, you're very off, essentially is what that message means, right?
Yes.
She called him out. And then he just says,
okay.
ooh,
This is
okay.
response.
This dumb fuck thought that he could just say that the Greyhound was X amount and the Cat wouldn't look into it. Come on, man. We're women. This is what we do. We love planning shit, okay? I'll tell you this, bro. I know there's some women that aren't into that shit, but for the most part, we love making travel plans. We want to pick the hotel. We want to get the best deal for our man. Like, this shit is fun, okay? Wait, is anyone else like this? Wait, one in the chat if you're like that. Like, I love it. It's so fun. But like, he thought that he was just going to say $800 and she was just going to bite it. Like, no. I'm like, baby, we're leaving. I'm going to get this hotel. We're going to do this. I'll book this. This is like, I have fun with it, okay? You ain't going to tell me. You say $800 too expensive. Okay, baby, I got you. I'm going to find you a cheaper one right now. Nah. Kat said, you're very off.
Around this time, you were looking up how Chandler could get to Florida, right?
Yes.
Show exhibit number 534 in this case. What is that?
It's a screenshot of the Greyhound website of me looking up a trip to Titusville from Madison.
And you took the screenshot?
Yes.
Did you send this to Chandler?
Yes.
Okay. And that was in the middle of those text messages, right?
Yes.
Move 534 into evidence.
Any objection?
Can we approach?
Sure.
No objection.
And you may publish.
Yeah. 534. What are we looking at there?
Dude, do you guys think Kat feels any guilt? Like, wondering if there's something she could have done? I'm just thinking about how, and I'm not saying that there is, but like how she might feel that way. When the prosecutors are listing out all these things, did you notice when Chandler did this? Did you notice this with Chandler? Did you notice this? Did you notice this? He was so good at lying through all these things. Of course she didn't take a second look, but when she's sitting here being asked all these questions, I wonder if she asks herself, like, oh my God, how did I not know something was up? You know what I mean? And not necessarily saying that's true, but like sometimes taking that guilt is a way that we find control in situations, because you can't control grief, right? But you can blame yourself, and blaming yourself is easy. It just, man, I can't imagine what she's going through, dude. This is fucking...
The price for
Actually, also, quick pause. Really quick, guys. I'm going to leave you some lo-fi, and I'm going to run an ad really quick. I have some people at my front door. I told you some people are coming to clean the floors today because my house is looking crazy right now. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Or wait, do you guys want me to just play this? I want to see it, though. You know what? I'm just going to play it. I'm going to run an ad, and then I'm going to play it, and then you guys can tell me if I missed anything because we got a long day going. Nah, but hold on. I'll be right back. I'm leaving you with the Wi-Fi. I'll be right back. I know what I'll do. This ad is playing for 60 seconds. You guys that are subs, you can tell them what happened. I'm gonna run this back a minute so that you guys don't miss anything. All right.
Read what Chandler says.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Nope, 870.
Because I'm gonna be gone for a second, okay?
Shot to Orlando.
And you respond, what? All this occurring just before the noon hour on Monday. And then Chandler says, Uber is $200 to Titusville, meaning the Greyhound plus the Uber. And you say it was $240 to go straight to Titusville. What are you looking at when you're doing this?
I was looking at the Greyhound website.
So you thought it'd be about $240. What did Chandler text you?
So like $1,000 to get there with not much of my stuff.
You respond, WTF, where am I? Or he responds, what, WTF, where am I looking? And you say, you're very off, essentially is what that message means, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay, is his response. Around this time, you were looking up how Chandler could get to Florida, right?
Yes.
Show exhibit number 534 in this case. What is that?
It's a screenshot of the Greyhound website of me looking up a trip to Titusville from Madison.
And you took the screenshot?
Yes.
Did you send this to Chandler?
Yes.
Okay. And that was in the middle of those text messages, right?
Yes.
Move 534 in evidence.
Any objection?
Can we approach?
Sure.
No objection.
And you may publish.
Yeah, 534. What are we looking at there?
The price for a trip from Madison to Titusville, Florida on Greyhound.
You took the screenshot, right?
Correct.
Who did you send it to again?
Pardon?
Who did you send it to?
Chandler.
Show you what's been marked in this case is exhibit number 536, and I'll show you 537. Take a trip. 536, is that another set of messages between you and Chandler that day, July 5th?
Correct.
What is 535? What is that?
Oh, sorry. It's a screenshot of UW Clinic.
Okay. And did you take that?
Yes, I did.
In relation to what? Why did you take this screenshot?
That's where Chandler said he was going to have his appointment for that day.
Okay. I'll move 536 and 535 into evidence.
Any objection other than the standing objection as to the texts?
No objection.
They are received.
So we're still on that day, July 5th. But we're in the afternoon, and you text me, can you read that last one?
Text me when you get to your appointment.
And we're about 1:30, aren't we?
Yes.
Chandler says, yes, dear. Then a series of messages starting at 1:40. You say, essentially. 1:40 again, I love you. It's going to be okay. Can you read what Chandler says?
Either way, you and me are going to be happy.
You say?
Very true.
And then at 2 o'clock, 2:01 exactly, Chandler says what?
Made it a bit ago and checked in.
What was your understanding of where he had gone?
To the location that I had screenshotted for his appointment.
And why again did you take this screenshot for Chandler's appointment?
Because I was trying to leave work early to be able to take him myself.
Okay. But you didn't take him that day, did you?
No.
So I'm showing, I'll move to publish 535 if I haven't.
You may.
Okay. You looked up UW Health on Science Drive.
Correct.
How did you get this location, or how did you know this was the location you'd be going to?
Chandler told me it was on Science Drive.
At that point, after he says he made it, checked in, at just after 2, what does he say?
Be right back.
You say, you got this. Yeah. You ask him about what you're doing later, 2:19, but then Chandler sends you a message. What does that say?
Just need you to know because I have horrible reception.
Okay. Then it was sent again. Does that look right?
Yes.
Okay, and just read that again if you could.
Just need you to know because I have horrible reception.
Okay. Your understanding at that time is that he was at the UW Health Hospital on Science Drive, or the clinic?
Correct.
You respond, okay. Then what do you say there?
Do they not? I meant to say, do they not have Wi-Fi?
Okay. What do you say after that?
We can snap if that's easier.
Why would that be easier?
Because they generally have Wi-Fi at all UW Health clinics. And so if he doesn't have reception on his phone, we could still snap with the Wi-Fi.
Now, we're talking about text, you're texting, and now you're texting about snapping. But in the realm of this conversation, a couple questions. When you're texting someone, just on the normal Apple iPhone, and you're texting someone, absent something crazy, you're not seeing their location, at least in your experience, right?
On the Apple location?
In these text messages, this isn't how you looked at where Chandler's location is, right? It was Snapchat.
Correct.
Okay. So if someone in your experience wasn't on Snapchat or able to use Snapchat because they didn't have Wi-Fi or a signal, would you be able to tell where their location is?
No.
Can you turn off on Snapchat the ability of someone to see your location?
Yes.
At 2:23, after arriving at the doctor, what does Chandler say to you?
No connection to even load Snapchat.
What'd I miss? Chair pussy?
And no Wi-Fi.
Can you turn off on Snapchat the ability of someone to see your location?
Yes.
But they trusted each other.
At 2:23, after arriving at the doctor, what does Chandler say to you?
They do be
No
loving the
connection
chair.
to even load Snapchat. And no Wi-Fi. But I can still get your iMessages.
Where is he? 2:24 p.m.? Wait. I need to look at these dates. Because is this the day of the murder?
At 2:23, after arriving at the doctor, what does Chandler say to you?
No connection.
Oh, no. This is 4 days after.
Connection to even load Snapchat. And no Wi-Fi.
But I can still get your iMessages, so there's no Wi-Fi, there's no connection, but he's still receiving messages? Hello?
Messages. No connection to even load Snapchat.
No, bro. Okay, Pandora, let me just give you guys the recap because I was gone for a minute. Pandora said, sorry, I'm new here. Did she just kill a boyfriend? No, she didn't kill a boyfriend. She was just supporting and loving her boyfriend who happened to have murdered both of his fucking parents, and she had no idea. And then he was tricking her into like, oh, can you go get some hydrogen peroxide for me? Can you go get some ice for me? Can you go get some of this? Like literally having her go get the cleanup kit for killing his parents, dude. It's just it's all kinds of messed up. And now she's on the stand putting his ass away in jail and reading all of their text messages.
And no Wi-Fi.
She had no idea.
Did that make sense to you?
The texts or?
That he'd be able to get messages but wasn't getting Wi-Fi or didn't have any service for Snapchat?
Hi, TK.
No.
generally in your relationship with Chandler or anyone else that you've been involved with, or any of your Snapchat friends that you follow their location, are you generally able to see their location when they're in normal cities like Madison?
Yes,
And you work in the healthcare field, right?
I do.
Generally Wi-Fi available at most of those places?
Yes.
Ooh, man.
In fact, what do you say to Chandler at 224?
Weird, they all have it.
She doesn't really believe him.
But maybe it's your carrier.
Oh, gives him the benefit of the doubt. No, Kat, no.
What does Chandler say?
I'll try and get it on. I'll try and get it on.
What?
Some of those messages were duplicates. Do you know if they were?
I got a question, and I'm not saying this to Kat. She clearly was suspicious, but I'm just asking about you in general. If your significant other is being a little sketch for a couple days, not too sketch, but you know, he's got an injury, maybe that's one thing. But he tells you at one point that he's going to a doctor's appointment and there's no Wi-Fi and no connection, but your iMessages are still coming through. 1 in the chat if you're like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. 2 in the chat if you're like, well, I don't know enough about technology and that could very well be a possibility, whatever. I've got a phone. I know how it works. And I know when I'm able to send text and when I'm not. Like, and here's my other question, because I know we got a lot of 1s and 2s that are coming here. I'm going to ask this one in 3s and 4s just so we can, you know, kind of get to a part 2 here. 3 in the chat, if you would be ballsy enough to call out that that's absolutely not possible in your partner that you know deflects or lies a lot. 4 in the chat, if you just wouldn't say anything and you would just say, well, that's not a big enough lie for me to call that out. I think I'm a 4. I don't know why. I think I'm a 4. I'm not the type to, you know, like, because you know what? Damn, as fucked as it sounds, there's some times where I don't think I want to know. I don't know. That's weird. And that's just a little social question. Thank you. Thank you for participating. And by the way, if you're new here and you like true crime, don't forget to follow the channel. We do true crime here every Monday, usually at 6 o'clock, but I was feeling a little frisky today. We're doing a little 12-hour today. Come hang out. After this, I think we're going to be watching an episode of I Survived. I guess this is the perfect day to do an I Survived binge if we choose to do so, but that will be, I think, coming up next.
Were sent twice or they were just received twice? I'll ask a better question. That last one, where there were duplicate messages, 2 in a row. I'll try to get it on, one possibility is someone actually wrote that message out, sent it, and there was some glitch in the system and it got sent twice, right?
Objection. Speculation.
He in the courtroom with the text messages.
I think the witness has testified to some electronic savvy enough that I think I'll let the question be asked and answered if she can.
Sure. Is one possibility of that same message coming through twice that there was maybe a glitch in the system or someone was in bad service area and the message just went through twice?
Yes.
Is another possibility that someone actually wrote that out and sent it twice, purposefully?
Yes.
Wait, what? He sent a text message twice to mimic not having service?
So at 3:25, maybe an hour into this, after the bad service, Chandler texts you. Can you read these for me?
Hi, hun. Heading home. They took an x-ray and a CT scan. Nothing bad on the x-ray.
They just...
At that point, I think you testified you didn't drive Chandler to the doctor's appointment.
No.
Did you FaceTime with him while he was there?
At the appointment?
Yeah.
Not that I remember.
And did you see his location, his Snapchat location? Was he at any doctor's appointment that you could tell?
Not that I saw.
She couldn't see that he turned off his location.
And so kind of like I asked you before with the jobs and the school, absent what Chandler was telling you, did you have any indication that he in fact was at any doctor's appointment? Do you know for sure?
No.
But after Chandler says nothing bad on the x-ray...
Dude, am I tripping? Or like, I know that this is kind of like slow, but I cannot stop watching this because I can't believe what Kat has been through. I can't believe it. I can't, like, I have days where I'm like, I can't do it anymore. My life is so hard. And I watch this and I'm like, my life is not hard. It is so, like, there is nothing, there are no obstacles. Like, I am fine. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, cool. Because I can't get off this shit right now.
Just read kind of what you responded.
Florida.
And what'd you say?
Let me see face.
What does that mean to you guys?
She wanted a little selfie. She thought he was cute.
When we miss each other, we'll ask to see face, which means we'll send each other a Snapchat of our face.
Okay. After you ask to see his face, how does Chandler respond?
CT scan, hun.
What? Like he can't take a picture after a
You
CT
ask him what was on it. No bad news. Can you read his response to you?
They haven't determined anything, both my legs, like they were, and all. I gotta wait to hear what they determined.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Can you read your first response to that?
You hear everyone sighing, just reading Chandler Halderson's lies. This is so...
I mean, soreness and stiffness is normal after whiplash and an accident.
She really believed it, dude.
And the next one.
Especially with how much your fam wouldn't let you move around your house.
What did this message mean? Why did you say that?
He was, at the time, staying in the basement because it was a darker room because he had sensitivity to the light, and his mom didn't want him doing much because she was really concerned about him, hurting himself or maybe passing out, lifting things, so he just generally stayed in there.
What you knew about his restrictions in the house, was that just from what Chandler had told you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever have a conversation with Krista about that?
Dude. No. All right. I'm going to keep it going in here just for the sake of keeping it going. We've seen a lot. I know that I've skipped around a lot of things here. Listen, it's for the sake of attention, all right? There's all of these videos there's some on Court TV, there's some throughout on YouTube. If you ever just want to like chill and watch the full sentencing of some of these different ones, but I want to jump around a little bit, and I think I'm ready to hear the defense closing argument. Do you guys remember previously the defense closing argument? It was a woman, a public defender, coming up to the stand with a long sigh saying, Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents, but she's got a whole 30-minute statement this time. Before it was only 10 minutes. Now she's got 30 minutes. Also, there's a rebuttal. Dude, I think this is going to be like a 4-hour YouTube video. My editor's right now shitting, peeing, crying right now. Okay, let's see what she's come up with. It is 33 minutes, but I may not watch the entire thing unless it's super, super, super interesting. But we'll link all of these in the description of the YouTube video if you ever want to just like finish watching one of these. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Is that fair? Like, part of me is like, we need to watch like the whole thing, but I'm like, okay, all right, let's go.
That opening instructions, like closing arguments, are not evidence. But what it is a roadmap.
She said our closing arguments are not evidence because the prosecution just rolled up with 35 minutes of evidence that said that Chandler Halderson did it. So she's like, we don't have that, but we do have a roadmap. You know what a roadmap is in the court of law? A web of lies. It's a fucking web of lies. Let's see it.
Of how their case is going to go and how our case is going to go. So you have an idea, as you're hearing all this evidence, how this case is going to go from both sides.
We don't have evidence, but we have a web.
From the beginning, we told you that this case was about the homicides.
Bahomicides?
I listened to attorney...
Did she say Bahomicides? Murders in the Bahamas. Hold on.
I listened
All
to
right, I don't
Attorney
even hear it.
Brown's
That's not what
opening
she
again
said.
this morning
That's
as I was
not
getting
wrong.
ready. And there were some things that he noted that I think are important. First off, towards the end of his opening, he apologized for some things. Essentially, he apologized for doing his job. He said it might be repetitive, it might be boring at times, but he needs to do it because he has a constitutional obligation to present their case, and they only have
She's trying
one
to
time.
discredit the prosecutor.
And that's fair. So now it's my turn to apologize. I am going to apologize for doing my job.
Oh.
First, let me talk about my job.
Dude, talk about
think
Chandler.
my job is to, quote unquote, get the defendant off on their charges, to object to every single question that's asked, to ask any question they possibly can of witnesses, to be loud, obnoxious, and make a scene so that I can try to get this person off of their charges.
That's not what we're expecting.
It's not. My job is to make sure that they do their job. My job is to make sure that if they're bringing charges on someone, they're doing it because they can do it beyond a reasonable doubt. They can prove those charges beyond a reasonable doubt. And people don't like when I say those words, beyond a reasonable doubt.
He did it.
Because it almost feels like a cop-out. And if you think that it's a cop-out, well, then your issue is not with me. Your issue is not with Chandler. Your issue is with the U.S. Constitution that says that without them, you don't have me. And without me...
She just straight up blame shifted to the judicial system that she works for. I know. Chat, these ones are so hard for me because, like, we know the defense attorneys are just doing their job, and their job is to defend someone that may or may not have did it. Sometimes they did, you know. In this case, I think, like, we all know who did it. We just gotta let her do her job, but you know what? Let's see how she does. Let's think of it that way, you know, rather than how dare she defend Chandler Halderson. Listen, she's probably a public defender, you know, she's set up for this. It is what it is, you know? Oh, okay. So Vortex Law, we're going to trust them because they have law in their name. And also Vortex sounds like really intense. So I'm trusting this information. Factual. So Vortex Law said, so fun fact, if the defendant can prove that his defense didn't do their best, they could appeal and claim ineffective defense. This is super duper true. There's been a number of people that have essentially done this before and they earned their rights to a second trial. So that's probably also why she's really got to put on a performance here. So let's, you know, we can cringe a little, but let's give her some slack, okay? Let's give her some slack. No, Vortex, I trust you because I know that that's true too. I know it's true. All right.
You don't have them. My job is to make sure that the state,
she said, I'm
with all
doing
of its
my
powers,
job.
they even have more tables than we do, that they do their job. And I'm going to do that job today. There's a couple things that I want to address before I go any further down the evidence. The first thing I want to address is sort of the obvious. Chandler lies. He told a lot of lies. Not only does he lie, but he goes to extreme lengths, if you will, to keep those lies going, or to perhaps cover up those lies. I guarantee you, every single person in this room has told a lie, has either covered up that lie, or has done something to keep that lie going. Maybe not now, maybe when you were a teenager. Go back to high school. I'm sure you lied at your parents all the time. You're not on trial, so your lies are not exaggerated and highlighted right now.
Everyone lied?
But they are here. And the important part is that
has anyone not lied to their significant other about not having cell phone reception? Has anyone lied to their parents about, like, hey, can you pick up some sodas because I have to get an extra hour in at work? Has anyone lied to their girlfriend and asked them to pick up peroxide to clean up their parents' blood, but told them that they cut their foot on the glass. Has anyone tried to burn their parents' heads in a fireplace, but then later told their girlfriend that the glass burst because they threw a tennis ball because they were playing catch with the dog? Okay, so none of us lie like Chandler.
That Chandler is not charged with lying to his girlfriend or to his parents. There's one charge that has to deal, one per parent, that has to deal with lying. Everything else is something that the state told you to try to feed you a theory, a motive, and to essentially taint your view on Chandler.
Taint.
So when we were going over jury selection, I asked you, how would you feel if he didn't testify? And a couple people said I wouldn't need to hear from him. A couple people said that they would treat him the same way they would do every witness. Bullshit. He lies, and they did a great job of making it known that he lies.
This isn't,
if
I
he
don't know,
testified,
this
you were
is
not going to believe
helping.
anything he said. I also said that it was a game day decision, and most of the times it is a game day decision. This never was.
Wait. Okay, we're jumping around all day today. Somebody just mentioned this video. It's a 3-minute video where someone said, how do you defend someone that you think is guilty? This is a 3-minute video from some type of defense attorney that has 7 million views, and I want to watch it because I need more information. Listen, I'm here to keep your true crime ADHD at bay. And then we'll go back to the video. Hold on. Let's see this.
I'm sometimes asked by students thinking about a career.
Wait, let me get some captions going. It's a little low. It's a little low, guys. I'm going to turn up the volume as much as I can here.
I'm sometimes asked by students thinking about a career at the bar or by friends.
Wait, why is this? Hold on. Font color. No. Font size. Font color. It's supposed to be white. Font size, 75. Well, that's not helping. Background color, blue, yellow. Hello? All right, it's going to be blue. Everyone shut up. Oh, opaque. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. Don't you guys like how my option was just like, it'll be blue. Okay, black. And then what? The font opacity? Window? No. There we go. Why was that so low? Okay. Everyone shut up. I made it blue and I was just okay with that. Okay, let's watch it.
Thinking about it. I'm sometimes asked by students thinking about a career at the bar or by friends who've got no experience of the law at all. Dominic, how is it that you defend somebody who you think is guilty?
Oh, he's good.
And whenever I'm asked that question, I always tell the story of my first ever criminal trial.
Okay.
20 odd years ago, I was sent down to Marylebone Magistrates Court to defend a man who was charged with stealing a frozen meal from Marks and Spencer's. And for me at the time, it was the most important thing that had happened in my life.
Okay.
And I remember being absolutely crestfallen when I saw the papers in the case, and they consisted of witness statements from 4 security guards, all of whom had said they saw, I can't remember his name now, Mr. Smith, walk down the frozen aisle at Marks and Spencer's,
okay,
select a spaghetti carbonara, shove it down his trousers, adjust it because it was cold, I suppose, and uncomfortable, and walk out of the shop. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I got to Marylebone Magistrates Court and I said, you know, is there a Mr. Smith here? And this guy came running up to me and he said, "Oi, Gov, you my brief?" And I said, yes, I am, Mr. Smith. And he said, "It's all a fit-up. The whole damn thing's a fit-up, mate."
A fit-up?
I said, "Well, listen, Mr. Smith, you know, if
why
you
does he
keep
sound like
guilty,
Sam
there's a
Pepper?
prospect that I can keep you out of prison. Plead guilty," he said, "plead guilty. I'm going to fucking sack you and I'm going to get another barrister." And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to get in trouble on my first day. So I said, "Calm down, Mr. Smith, calm down.
Okay.
Don't worry. If you want a defence, you know, I'll defend you as well as anybody," or whatever it was. We went into court and the trial started.
Okay, how's this going to end?
Concerns about where do I stand, where do I sit, what do I say. This was my first ever criminal trial. I remember that I was kind of just embarrassed about Mr. Smith's defence, this conspiracy theory that every security guard wanted to fit him up. And because I was embarrassed, I felt personally red-faced about his defence.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I properly defended him, one way or another. Anyway, poor old Mr. Smith was duly convicted. He got 6 months.
Wait, what?
4 months later, I did another case, and it was so long ago now, I can't even remember the facts of it, but what happened during the course of that case involved some of the
hold on.
security-
Everyone, I would like to pause really quick. Marnavelli has come into the channel and asked me to be quiet. They simply just said, shut up. And I'm feeling pretty submissive today, and I think I'm going to abide by that. Guys, I know we were supposed to do a 12-hour stream today, but thank you guys so much for stopping by. I had fun. While we were streaming, but I think I'm going to listen today, and I'm going to be quiet. I want to be quiet, like the woman I am. So I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out. I'm sorry, you guys know I just pick up random comments that are so fucking stupid. I can't help it. It's so fun. Okay. All right, everyone, shut up. Let's go back to this.
So long ago now, I can't even remember the facts of it, but what happened during the course of that case involved some of the security guards.
I'm sorry, I hit y'all with the music and everything.
And as a result of my experience in that case, I was convinced so that I was absolutely sure that what poor old Mr. Smith had said to me 4 months previously, that I'd been embarrassed about, had in fact been the truth.
Okay.
You see, we as defense advocates, as barristers, have no idea whether or not somebody is telling you the truth, whatever the evidence looks like. People lie for all sorts of reasons. People do things for motivations that we can only guess at.
How does
and
this
our
end?
job as defense barristers is to represent everybody in exactly the same way, with exactly the same professionalism. With exactly the same
I get what he's saying.
With exactly the same courage, and it does take courage sometimes, as if we were representing our loved ones, or as we'd want to be represented ourselves. Because our job as defense advocates is not to be the jury, not to decide who we want to defend and who we don't, because everybody's entitled to it.
Okay.
But just to assist a jury in coming
Bro,
to their
that's
own
fair.
determination. And so that was a very, very early lesson for me to learn. And the answer to the question, how is it that you defend somebody who you think is guilty, is simply this. I have no idea who is guilty or not.
Oh.
And I do the same for everyone.
Okay, so his philosophy is basically, I have no idea. You know what? Damn, that's the first defense attorney that I kind of fucked with, bro. I get, his story. I thought he was about to hit us a little harder than that, but I kind of, I ain't mad at that. Okay, back to Chandler Halderson. Let's see what this lady says. Yeah, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. I like the vulnerability that he shared in that story, though, where he said that he didn't do a very good job because he was embarrassed. And you know what? This lady's probably kind of embarrassed right now, but she's doing her job. You know what? I'm going to give it to her.
If you heard from him, were you even going to believe him? You weren't, and that's fine, because it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, there's only one lie that really does matter, and that's the one that he said about his parents missing. I'm gonna make your life a little easier, and it's gonna be a little unconventional.
Okay.
There are certain charges that I believe the state has met their burden, and they have proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. And again, from the beginning, first-degree intentional homicide is a serious charge.
Yes, it is.
We've been here for the homicides.
What's she gonna try to say? It wasn't first degree? It wasn't
A
premeditated?
piece of paper that is signed, a formal piece of paper that's signed by Chandler to the Dane County Sheriff's Office about a missing persons that clearly is not true. This is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And I want you to think about that when it comes to talking about these homicides. I also want you to think about another thing.
Okay.
And I made a weird noise, I apologize. But I want you to think about another thing.
Bro, she been catching wind with the mic every time she moved around. I didn't even hear what the weird noise was, but you know what? Respect.
Attorney Raymond did her closing. Two phrases,
That mic is
if you
powerful.
will, really caught on. Several times she said, we know X, Y, and Z happened. We know that this happened. Pay attention to the times where she said, we don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
I can't tell you
Man, I really...
How she was killed.
I really got to get... Okay, chat, question for you really quick. Are you listening to this lady? Like, I'm listening. She's got my attention. Can we just take note on how it's such a far cry from the earlier defense's opening statement? Just check it out.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents.
Okay, that's a woman that does not want to be here. And, like, I get it. But this lady's like, let me do my...
We don't know. Whatever.
Brett.
And it was always in the parts that had to do with the homicides. When I was in law school, I was told that the words "I don't know" should never come from that table. Because you should know. If you're charging people with crimes, you should know.
Oh, dude, she's doing a good job, but it's dirty, bro.
The evidence that I think that they skipped over, that matters for me in proving that first-degree intentional homicide was not something that they met their burden on. I first want to talk about the cabin.
Dude, I've noticed that if you put any defense attorney line like in chat and then you type the BOZE okay thing afterwards, it just works. It just works. Who did it a minute ago? When I was in law school. And then the little dog is just so funny, dude. Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents. And then the BOZE okay. Can somebody do it, please? Hold on, I'll do it. Hold on. I love it so much. And you just put that little face afterwards. It's so silly.
There is a cabin. There's no disputing that. Bart and Krista went to the cabin at least 2 or 3 times a year, I think is what someone testified to. It's possible that they could have gone to the cabin that weekend. In fact, you don't even know what their weekend plans were. Friends testified. None of them said, oh, they were going to come over to watch fireworks with us. So no one knew what their plans were that weekend.
Imagine watching this in heaven, dude.
The reason they're making a big
so
deal
pissed
about it is because that is some kind of premeditation to them. That is some kind of intent. Ooh, he was going to do something that day. He knew he was going to do something that day, so he was going to say something about going to the cabin. He's talking to his girlfriend days before, on the 30th, so a day before. There's a text message exchange between Kat and Chandler where Kat asks, we're not going to the cabin, right? And he says no. You're allowed to use your common sense. When you have conversations with significant others and you're texting, you're not gonna get the full story because sometimes you do it in person. And what we know from him and his girlfriend is that they chatted on Snapchat. They chatted everywhere they could. So you're not gonna get the full story from text messages. But what you do know is that at some point, talks about going to this cabin as a family were happening. So this notion that the idea of going to the cabin was last minute because he needed to cover up these homicides that he was gonna do is not true. Now, again with the lies.
Okay.
Certain lies mattered. Certain lies did not. What I want to clear up, and Attorney Raymond did a great job when she mentioned that we've seen this case multiple times. We've dealt with this case. We've talked to each other about this case. So sometimes we get things wrong. I'm going to clear up something that they got wrong. The evidence does not show that Bart and Krista knew about this SpaceX job.
Yes, they did.
You heard from Kat's mother, Dulce,
but we know
that she knew about it. You heard about Cress knew about it. Kat talked about it. Maybe another friend or roommate talked about it, but you never heard anyone testify that Bart and Krista knew about this SpaceX job. You heard from Bart's brother, Brett. I do not believe he mentioned it at all. So So that's not a lie on this house
All
of
right.
cards that was crashing down
I think we gotta.
that Bart and Krista knew about. You also didn't hear that they knew about the scuba team, dive team, whatever you want to call it, lie with the City of Madison Police Department. You heard it from his girlfriends, ex's girlfriends and Kat. You heard it from his friends. But you didn't hear it from people that knew Bart and Krista and said that they mentioned it.
All right. We're going to close it out with this, guys. Well, we're not closing it out because we still got a lot. Dude, there's just so much to navigate in this case. Okay, so we listened to a little bit of the defense closing argument. Honest question. One in the chat if you get the point. You know, she's gonna do her job. She's gonna do her job well. I feel like she is. But it's just simply not true. I really don't want to listen to too much of that. I don't know what else to say. But after her statement, the prosecution made a rebuttal. And our favorite prosecutor is back. We know him. We love him. We trust him so far. Let's see what he's got to say. Wait, what's his name? Hold on. Chandler Halderson, prosecutor? I knew his name, but... William Brown. Come on down, Willie Brown. Bring it on in, Will. William Brown.
A lot of talk in the defense closing and opening about
Look at him.
things they learned in law school or going to law school. And I think in the opening I heard at one point, being on a jury is different than being a person.
Oh my
Funny,
God,
that's
he's
true.
roasting her. He's
But I'm done with law school, and I do this for a living. I operate in a world of common sense and not fanciful thoughts of just this guy finding his dead parents and deciding no big deal, let's just cut them apart and hide them around the state. But who knows how they died? I live in that world.
He came in hot. Chat, he came in hot. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hot did this man come in while smiling and being nice? Bro, that was a hard 10. He said, I think at one point I even heard in the opening statements that being on the jury is different than being a person. She did say that. She really did say that. Your job today is to be a jury member, not a person with emotions and feelings. Turn those off today and let this man go free so we can kill more people. Like, come on, dude.
That's the world you should live into, because being a juror is no different than being a person, unlike maybe what you were told earlier. You're told by the judge, although they figured out a way to say it in about 2 paragraphs, you use your common sense and experience in the roles of everyday life or something along those lines. A bunch of lawyers got together and thought about it for 2 weeks and figured out a way to say use your common sense. This Vera just stood up here and said, what if this was an awful accident? Bart Halderson was shot in the back twice.
I'm gonna cry.
You do not fall down and shoot yourself in the back.
I'm gonna cry.
Twice. Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson.
Dude, I need more rebuttals. The rebuttal is straight up an attorney in court being like, what the fuck did you just say? I got words for that. Chat, we're doing more rebuttals. Hold on, keep it going.
Their heads chopped
Break it down.
off, had their arms and legs
Break it down,
removed.
Willie.
That was an awful accident. Think of for a second. You heard about the bones. You saw those marks on the bones, those attempts. Some of them 3, some of them 10, some of them 5. False starts is what the anthropologists called them. That is someone on their hands and knees, Chandler apparently, which was just saying, I guess we're admitting to that now. They lied and chopped him up and hit him around the state. On his hands and knees, some of them from the front to back, meaning probably could see the face of his mom and his dad as that saw moved back and forth. Back and forth. And you just saw the bones. But what's before the bones? The skin, the blood, the muscle, the fat. The smell that they had to produce.
And he just kept
the
going.
blood of his own parents. An awful accident. We heard,
Who just said law daddy? We did. This is our law father, at least for today. We've got a new, sorry kids, you got a new dad every week.
days without Googling things. I don't, maybe you do. But I bet you don't Google dismembered body found in Wisconsin when you're crying on the local news about your missing parents. I bet you don't Google woman's dismembered body found. I bet you don't do legal research about some other guy who chopped up his family members and threw them in a river.
If you missed that part, there was search history of Chandler straight up searching to see if they had found his mom's body or not. A woman found in Wisconsin, dismembered body found. He was searching that, trying to see if they'd found the bodies.
Bet you don't do that.
Thanks for backing me up, Will.
This process is common sense.
Dude, I just want to
Ms.
see.
Vera talked a lot about the lies. Chandler is a liar, and it seems like we all agree on that now.
4.5 hours into our 12-hour
Lots of
stream,
people
boys.
lie.
We're doing it.
I can agree with Ms. Vera on that.
Thanks, Jamie.
The question in this case isn't, who would do this? And maybe that's something that's gone through your mind here. Who would do this? Who would go through all this? Who would make up all these lies? Who would take it this far? All these fake people, the burner phone, the nonsense, the calls to his dad, the emails back and forth, the friends and family, the move to Florida. Who would do this? And you're gonna leave this room. 6 of you are gonna go home. 12 of you are gonna go into a room and talk to each other. And you're never gonna have an answer to that question. Because who would do this in the common sense meaning of it? Nobody does something like this. But that's not the role of a jury. You're answering a different question, which is who did this?
Who did it,
Not
Chad?
who would do this? Because for the life of you, I bet before you got that notice in the mail a couple months ago saying you had to come here, you would say nobody. You would have said nobody.
Oh my God.
Nobody would shoot their dad in the back twice, kill their mom, lay him on the ground in front of their family fireplace, take scissors and pruning shears, take a hacksaw, take a keyhole saw, and saw off their heads, arms, legs, burn them in the fireplace. Over 100 fragments of human bone found in that fireplace. You'd say no one would do this. But you got your jury summons, and you ended up here, and you found out that someone did do it. Chandler Halderson did it. So those lies are important. Because you at some level have to grasp how this man got to that point.
Oh my God.
As I said in the opening statement, the murders were just a small piece of the puzzle. None of the things that happened before, none of the things that happened after make any sense. Got to have the murders to understand why he did that bizarre story for 7 days of his parents going missing with the unknown couple. And you can understand the murders if you understand what happened before with his bizarre actions of building up this life that wasn't real. Why were those lies important? They were important because that's all he had.
Dude.
We're here because of the deaths of Bart and Krista Halderson, and they are dead.
I actually don't know who's a bigger piece of shit, Grant Amato or Chandler Halderson. I really don't even, like, they are literally the same exact caliber of evil and worthless. Really, truly. Like, what contributions did either of them do in their time here when they were free? I can't think of a single thing. I really can't. But instead, they've changed the trajectory of many people's lives forever, you know? I don't know.
There's no doubt
Split
about
the
that.
difference.
You have most decidedly concluded that at this point. You have seen their bodies. But on some level, whoever Chandler Halderson was died years ago as well.
Also, I'm gonna say this, and I hate saying this because I hate making it seem like there's any type of understanding around this, because this shit is really, really sick. But if you're a person that is watching this and for any reason you have been so afraid to communicate something that you've done or something you're anxious about, maybe a lie that you've told or something that's happened that you are willing to escalate to violence to keep your secret, it is not worth it. I don't know who needs to tell you that, but it is not worth it. Maybe because we don't have conversations around these things. People don't really have a barometer around what's right or wrong sometimes. Let me tell you, it's not fucking worth it. It's really not. okay? It's really not. Think of something else. Go to therapy, or maybe tell a friend or a couple friends what you plan to do and see what their reaction is, instead of doing something stupid and then ending up in a courtroom and humiliating yourself because you can't communicate. Anyways, all right.
What was left was this shell of a person who made this nonsense up, who built himself up to be a tech employee, rescue scuba diving guy.
Chad, I want to think that. Chad was like, people that think that way wouldn't watch this. There's a lot of people that have a lot of really dark thoughts, and they give in to those dark thoughts. I don't know why or how, and maybe it's like something with OCD or something, and maybe we'll cover a case on it eventually, but those people are really, truly everywhere. They really are. I see people sometimes in my comments that say, like, I was almost this person and I'm really glad that I wasn't. And yeah, it's just really shocking.
He was going to college. It was all he had. It was all he had. And that started to unravel. Maybe his parents suspected it. But you listened to Bart Halderson on that call just about a day before he was killed. That sound like someone to you who knew his son had been lying to him? Those text messages. I spoke to Omar Job. I'm ready whenever you are. He didn't know what was going on until that moment. So when Bart Halderson finds out that this is a lie, to Chandler, whoever Chandler Halderson is, the whole world crumbles. Because if you weren't going to school, they sure weren't going to hire you at American Family Insurance. That couldn't have been real. There's no way you got a job at SpaceX. What else are you lying about? Where are you going all the time when you say you're training for this scuba diving team? Everything about him falls apart.
Where was he going?
He doesn't have any money. Remember when he texted his girlfriend he was going to the police? Hey, can I have $5 for a sandwich? He can't just leave. He can't move out. He can't get in a car and head west. He probably couldn't make it out of the state with the amount of money he had because he never had a job. He had two options. Own up to his lies, stand up, and finally tell the truth for once. Or like a coward, shoot your father in the back.
Yeah.
And
Embarrassing.
that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. Miss Vera says, wow, we just got a shell casing. Yeah, we got a bullet fragment. Just happens to have Bart Halderson's DNA on it. And you looked at it, just happens to appear to have blood all over it. And then text my mom. Hey, pick up soda for me.
Dude.
Dad's phone's dead. She gets home. Whose blood spatters on the safe right there by the bullet fragment? Those little red dots, human blood. It's Crystal Halderson. We don't know what happened. We know exactly what happened. Murders are not captured on video. That's not how this happens. That's how this works.
You know, if there are any hybristophiliacs that are posting about Chandler Halderson, I hope that they know that they have chosen the stupidest criminal. The stupidest criminal. And if you don't know what a hybristophiliac is, it's basically a criminal pervert. Those girls are in love with Ted Bundy or, you know, other killers and don't think about the fact that they would have absolutely murdered them. My God, if you're a little hybristophiliac chasing after Chandler Halderson, it's just because you think he's cute, isn't it? And you're so pea-brained that this is the person that you choose? This fucking idiot? I know he's got fangirls out there. I know he does. Hybristophiliac. HYBRISTOPHILLAIC. Something like that. Just keep typing it. It'll come up eventually. Hold on. Wait, let me see what hybristophiliac. I can't spell it off the top of my head. There you go. All right.
Sure, in the grand scheme of things, there are some people who are stupid enough to walk up to a gas station, stand in front of the security camera, and shoot somebody. But that's not real life. That's not common sense. Chandler Halderson did this in the basement of his house. The blood is everywhere. The bullet's there. You heard from Mr. Leatherberry, who testified. He only found one, and the one he found was kind of rolled behind under that bench. He tried to clean
I gotta
up.
order food.
Peroxide everywhere. He's having people bring him peroxide. Blood all over that fireplace stoop. Bone fragments in the ash trap. You know exactly what happened. You don't need a video. The lies are important. because it's all Chandler Halderson had. And when they were exposed, he started coming up with this plan. And yeah, after the Omar Job text comes in on the 29th, he's having a conversation with his girlfriend. You heard Miss Vera actually read it, and that's fair. The day before, hey, are we going to the cabin? What's going on? They're talking about the cabin. He's starting to dabble with the idea of what he's doing. But then I think it was at 1:04 p.m., just about an hour and a half, 2 hours before he did it, he says they're going to the cabin this weekend.
Damn.
He made his final decision. Because at that moment, Chandler Halderson knew there was no way out. He couldn't get in the car and drive away. He couldn't make up another lie. He couldn't make up another email. He couldn't buy another burner phone. It was done. Everyone was going to see him for what he was. Just some liar. Some guy without a job, not going to school.
Liar, just
who'd been lying to everyone for years.
Loser.
And he couldn't handle that.
Will's like, unlike me, I have a job. And we are here for it, Will.
So he committed the ultimate act of betrayal against your parents. Perhaps against any human being.
By the way, friendly reminder, you can be unemployed. You cannot have a job as long as you're not lying to everyone that loves you and murdering your parents. It's fine. Okay. All right. I just got to say that because, you know, there's a lot of people, we be going through transitions. We be going through situations. You know what I mean? It's okay. Don't do anything crazy. Okay?
But especially your parents, the person who held you when you were a baby and cleaned up your cuts on your knee when you were learning to ride a bike.
Stop!
Comforted you when you were crying. The ultimate act of betrayal. He shot his parents. And then he cut them up and he hid them. But the lies that
Yes, you guys that are not aware, this is Chandler. Every time the camera zooms in on Homeboy, this is Chandler. Wish we got to see a little bit more of him.
Stop there. It was a new lie. No, that's the cabin. Now he's on the news.
Thanks, Naruto.
Now he's giving interviews. Given 2-3 more days, don't think for a second there wouldn't have been 2-3 more fake emails. Text messages from my mom.
Uh-huh.
A whole new world. A whole new reality for Chandler that he got to live in. His checklist was right there. Finally, he was going to get a job. Obviously, mom and dad couldn't support him anymore. Maybe he was going to get some life insurance. Maybe he knew, maybe he didn't. But he certainly got to continue on his fake life. He got to keep his girlfriend. People continued to respect him. His friends probably continued to think that he was successful, important. The lies were rinsed and repeated, rinsed and repeated. Now I promise I'm...
All right. Actually, we'll let this play just a little bit more. I'm about to start looking for the sentencing and the part where Chandler possibly talks during this. I'll let this play just a little bit more. Here's the plan. This is what we're going to do, folks. I'm letting you plan your day around us, what we're doing, okay? This is a 12-hour stream. Got a little bit more to go. Damn, how long are we in? Because let me check. Wait, 4.5 hours in. I'm doing it. I'm a big kid today. We're actually supposed to be on the front page at about 7 o'clock tonight talking about Elizabeth Holmes at Theranos. So we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up today to chat about. We're going to watch after this the sentencing, see if we can find that clip of Chandler Halderson talking, and then that'll pretty much wrap up this segment. And then, thanks for all the gifts, guys. We're about to hit a level 5 hype train. Okay, let's get that. We got a long day ahead of us, okay? Make my day. We might get to 5,000 subs today. That'd be pretty wild, dude. I don't know how the fuck I have 5,000 subscribers when I stream like once a week. I don't know. Oh, incentives. That's what it is. Incentives. I promise you, I'm giving back. Thank you guys so much. So we'll finish up this segment in maybe about 30 to 40 minutes or so. And then I'm going to take a little break because, of course, it's a longer stream today. I'm going to take about 30 minutes or maybe an hour. I might actually take a break for 30 minutes or an hour because I've got to get some stuff together for Theranos, and I'm going to go walk and get a decaf latte because I'm quitting coffee this week. I think during that period of time, we'll put on, we'll either put on I Survived or maybe we'll throw on an old JCS while I take a little break and you guys watch. But we're either going to do I Survived after this segment, depending on how long it takes, or after my break, okay? Is that okay? Thank you guys so much for all the love. So much gifts, so many bits. Oh, we're going to hit a level 5 hype train. I believe. I absolutely believe. Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy that you're having a nice time. That's all that matters to me. I don't know if you guys can tell, every time that I do a stream, all that I care about is that everyone's having a good time. Like, even when I hang out with my friends in person, I love hosting. That's why I got like a nice house and stuff, and I want to get like a big like 6-person dining table, because all I care about is just making sure that everyone has a nice time. And if you're having a nice time, I'm having a nice time. So it all works out. Okie dokie. Okay, let's keep playing the video.
I'm about done, and I'm the last person who talks. The judge is going to talk a little bit more. What he's going to say next is hard to hear, in that he has to read off the verdict forms you're going to take back to the jury room with you.
Let me find the next
Verdict
part.
forms are the physical documents for each charge. There's a bunch of charges here. For each one, there's one that says guilty and not guilty, guilty and not guilty, guilty and not guilty. And he actually read them all, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but he has to do it. But what Ms. Vera is asking you to do is to lie. It is the last lie of Chandler Halderson. His lawyers stood up here and told you to lie for him. Not to do what you swore to do, which is to render a just and true verdict based on the evidence. To reconcile the evidence.
All right, we're about to watch the verdicts in a second here, folks.
Consistent with the defendant's innocence. A reasonable hypothesis.
Okay, Tig has donated 1,000 gifted subs in this channel. That is absolutely insane. That is so nuts. Tig, thank you so much. Tig, stop gifting. Somebody's gonna have to pick it up. We need a new gift daddy. That is so much, Tig. 1,000 gifted subs. You know you're appreciated. It's time to pass on the baton. That is so much. That is so much. Hello? Wait, can I see who leads in the bits? Oh, I can't see until after the hype train is done. Dude, you guys know I'm such a Twitch grandma. I have donations turned off. I don't have notifications on the stream. I just read the chat, and like sometimes I notice when people sub or donate, or like not donate, when people or like do like sub bombs or something or bits. So I'm really sorry. Half the time, by the way, I don't even notice raids sometimes because the chat just moves fast. If I ever miss a raid, can y'all tell me? Can y'all yell at me? Because everybody deserves some respect. I feel bad, you know. I just don't have notifications on. All right, let's check out the Halderson homicide trial verdict. So the verdict is we're just getting to the end here where the jury has listened to everything about our case. Essentially, we're the jury here. They come together and they give the judge their final decree of, if he's guilty on the counts or not. So let's watch that before we get into the sentencing. Looks like the sentencing was just done 2 days ago, so I'll make sure I can find that clip for us. Tig!
Read those instructions. There was a lot to talk about, but they reached this verdict fairly quickly.
All right, here we go.
Oh my God. Wait, okay, hold on. They said they reached this verdict pretty quickly. You guys see how I shut up. That's like, we know kind of what the verdict is, but like, I need to soak it all in. Borg, thank you so much. That's gotta be a level 5 hype train. Is it? I think so. Yeah, you know what? We might hit, we're about 400 subs away from 5K. Maybe we'll hit it by the end of the night. We're gonna make it happen, chat. We're gonna make it happen. 400 of you are getting gifted subs, and then you can access all the VODs, okay? But let's do this.
Fairly quickly.
All right, here we go.
Okay, the Halderson trial.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Sir, did the jury reach verdicts on all counts in this matter?
We did.
Could you please give Randy the folder?
I don't sit down for verdicts. Okay. Give it to us. What's the judge's name? I don't know the judge's name.
The verdict form on count 1, as signed by the presiding juror and dated today, reads, "We, the jury, find the defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as to Barday Halderson, as charged in count 1 of the amended information.
And Krista.
As to the verdict form for count 2, as signed and dated, We, the jury, find the defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of providing false information about a missing person as to Bart A. Halderson, as charged in count 2 of the amended information.
Get him out of here.
Verdict form for count 3, as signed and dated, reads, we, the jury, find the defendant.
Somebody said that they can't tell if I'm sitting or standing. I'm standing. I am standing tall at 4'11", loud and proud. Do I really look the same when I'm sitting or standing? No, I don't. No, I don't. If you can't tell the difference, you're wrong. I'm tall.
Defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of mutilating a corpse as to Bart A. Halderson, as charged in count 3 of the amended information. Verdict form for count 4, as signed and dated, reads, we, the jury, find the defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of hiding a corpse as to Bart A. Halderson, as charged in count 4 of the amended information. The verdict form for count 5, as signed and dated, reads, we, the jury, find the defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as to Krista R. Halderson, as charged in count 5 of the amended information.
Piece of shit, dude.
The verdict form for count 6, as signed and dated by the foreperson, reads, we, the jury, find the defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of providing false information about a missing person as to Krista R. Halderson, as charged in count 6 of the amended information. The verdict form as to count 7, as signed and dated, reads, we, the jury, find the defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of mutilating a corpse as to Krista R. Halderson, as charged in count 7 of the amended information. And finally, the verdict form for count 8, as signed and dated, reads, we, the jury, find the
it's my origin email.
defendant Chandler M. Halderson guilty of hiding a corpse as to Krista R. Halderson, as charged in count 8 of the amended information. I will note for the record that the jury...
Guilty. Guilty across the board. Chat, so say we. Guilty on all counts. Lock him away. Put him away for life. Okay, let's watch the sentencing. I don't know why you're here. I'm sorry. Do you still like me? I ask my boyfriend this all the time. Like anytime ever. Like, I'll just look this man dead in the eyes and I'm like, do you still like... Oh my god, I thought I got locked in the office again. If you missed that, I got locked in my office last night. I told the story at the beginning of the stream. Alright, well, we'll let this read off a little bit more while I find the sentencing. Please hold.
Also
I will take care of your ADHD, okay?
Verdict forms that read not guilty and that those do not bear any signature or date, as well as returning the jury instructions. Let me inquire of you, and I'll use initials. Ms. B, are the verdicts which I read the verdicts with which you agreed? Yes. Mr. Deringer, are those the verdicts with which you agreed? Yes. Mr. H, are those the verdicts with which you agreed? Yes, they are. Mr. M, are those the verdicts with which you agreed? I do not need to ask the foreperson as his signature appeared on the verdicts. Ms. C, are those the, Mr. C, are those the verdicts with which you agreed? Yes, they were. Ms. W, are those the verdicts with which you agreed? Yes, sir. Mr. M, are those the verdicts with which you agreed? You guys are just looking at me.
Sorry. All right. Everyone? I was just sitting here like... Oh, man. I have way too much fun here. Appreciate all of you. Okay, let's skip around a little bit to get to... This is actually a report from News Channel 3. God bless them. Let's just see if we can get to the attorney talking.
Regarding the, what I assume...
I don't know. I sometimes I love sentencing because the judge just rips into them. But I don't know if the colonel's going to give us too much here, bro.
Let me call State of Wisconsin versus Chandler M. Halderson, case number 21CM.
Yes, sir.
1568. Is that the correct case number?
CF.
CF 1568. Could I have the appearances, please?
William Brown and Andrea Raymond appear for the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Mr. Halderson appears in custody in court with his attorneys Crystal Vera and Catherine Doral. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's first touch base to ensure that everyone has had access to the same materials as we're here for sentencing. A pre-sentence investigation was ordered, and Agent Alyssa Burke filed with the court the report of that investigation on March 7th. Attorney Brown, did the state receive and have the opportunity to review a copy?
We have.
And are there any substantial corrections that the state needs to note for the record?
No.
All right, let's get to it.
Essentially, a sister in spirit.
Why are they talking to him like he's a baby?
And Judge, perhaps as the defense is reading that,
I just feel gross looking at him even read a piece of paper. Like, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do stuff that we're allowed to do anymore. Like, dude. Yo, y'all know that there's girls writing this guy in prison right now talking about some, Chandler, you don't understand. You were abused by your parents. I completely understand. I want to fix you. I want to protect you. If you're that girl and you're like looking at him like, oh, what a little baby. Oh no, I want to fix him. You need to get your shit together. You really need to get your shit together. If you are literally looking at this man and thinking in any capacity that you can fix him, you know what that means? It means that you hate yourself so much, you're looking for worth in somebody that has nothing, and you think that you can insert value into his life and be somebody. I've got an idea. Why don't you go be somebody somewhere else? I'm telling you right now, if you are a girl that is looking at him right now, I can fix him. You are fucking sick. You are sick, and you need to believe in yourself, okay? You need to believe that you deserve better. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to go find value somewhere else, okay? I'm just saying, I know some people are sitting here, oh, I want to help the baby. He's not a baby. He's not, okay? He's not a baby, and he would send you to go get murder cleaning supplies, and this isn't some gangster. This is not some gangster that's going to protect you and, like, pull you into his lifestyle. He's going to lie to you, and then he's going to shoot you in the back of the fucking head. That's exactly what Chandler Halderson is. You know, I be telling y'all to go to therapy every week.
And Judge, perhaps as the defense is reading that, just an administrative matter, the state would ask that the court adopt at least partially its amended media order in the trial. I don't imagine there'll be a problem, but I think there may be some new folks here from the media regarding the filming of people in the gallery here today.
I actually, did we distribute a copy, or I didn't download it. I'll print for each party a copy. I actually did distribute a media order about a half hour ago regarding those types of issues. I'll print a copy for you here in the courtroom.
We appreciate it.
I can get those done quick. Oh, okay, thank you.
I thought she was about to give him water. I'm like, he doesn't need any water. He's not a baby. Dude, he's over here breathing all heavy and stuff. Like, he didn't do what he did.
Go ahead and take a look at that.
I can't, sorry, I keep looking at him because I'm like,
Any reason we should not now proceed to a sentencing hearing?
Okay.
Had to wonder where his next meal was coming from.
Oh, please.
And
stop. Stop. What?
So, Your Honor, Mr. Brown and I are breaking up this sentencing. I'm going to talk very briefly about the character of the defendant, and then go on to talk about the seriousness of the offense.
Character of the
Mr. Brown will then
defendant?
talk
Okay.
about second half of the seriousness offense and the need to protect.
Okay,
the
so she's on the prosecution side. At first, I thought this was the defense attorney for a second. She's on the prosecution side trying to put Chandler away, okay? Let's see.
public. I'm going to spend a lot of my time today talking about the victims and who they were as people. But I am going to start with talking about the character of the defendant.
Okay.
This PSI was kind of not your average PSI. I've
What's
often said in
PSI?
serious...
Public service. What is PSI in court? Person's investigation report? I don't know. In a court case, pre-sentence investigation report. Also, a PSI report, also known as a pre-sentence investigation report, consists of paperwork that a judge can use to help determine the right way to punish a defendant in a court case. Oh my God. Where'd you guys go? Oh, there's chat. Oh, there we go. We just learned so much, dude. So there's an investigation that happens before Chandler's actually sentenced, I guess, to assess his character or, what is he like when he's in jail. And she's saying this PSI is different than one she's ever seen.
Proceed, please.
Oh my God. Do you guys love learning? No? Okay.
So, Your Honor,
Dreamer just
Mr.
said,
Brown
I am too stupid for
the
court.
defendant for the seriousness offense, talking about the victims and who they were, talking about the character of the defendant.
Okay.
This PSI was kind of not your average PSI.
We believe
I've
it.
often said in serious sentencings that reading PSIs is one of the most depressing things about my job.
Oh.
And that I really dislike it. Although what it does provide is a context to crime. Almost every homicide I've prosecuted, there's been a fairly tragic backstory of the defendant. Violence, drugs, just tragedy.
Jesus
and
Christ.
You often
She's
are
about to
left
take
with an
him out,
explanation.
dude.
Not an excuse, but an explanation as to why a crime occurred. Why did this 18-year-old kill a 17-year-old? There's not an explanation here. Chandler grew up with a life of privilege by pretty much, I think, any sort of angle you look at it. He had two parents that were married and that seemed to be happily married. Two parents that, from all evidence, were completely supportive. Very sort of, his dad was the den leader for Boy Scouts.
Oh my God.
His parents attended every swim meet that he had. There's absolutely no evidence of abuse whatsoever in this case. Chandler grew up with no housing insecurities. He never had.
Y'all ever think about your past and think about how you were like neglected or abused? And then sometimes like you get real sad about it, but then you think, damn, that shit gave me a lot of character. I would not be who I was on this day if that girl had never called me that word on the playground, or if this person had never backhanded me. You ever think about it and you're like, I can handle this. I can handle.
Had to wonder where his next meal was coming from. And he was never exposed to any violence that we saw any evidence of, or even really guns. The only tragedy, if you can even call it that, it's more really a part of life that we saw that occurred to him during his childhood was he did lose his maternal grandparents.
Oh, no.
He went to good and safe schools.
Oh, no.
By all accounts, he had a supportive, extended.
Oh, no. How many of you guys that are in your early 20s want in the chat if you've lost your grandparents? It is very hard. It's very hard, especially if you were raised by them. I have a very strong relationship with my maternal grandparents. They're still alive, I'm sure I'd be very sad if they passed away early in life, but I wouldn't, choose to kill their children. Man, that's all that happened to Chandler. That's all that happened to Chandler. Any of you guys that have had significant trauma in your life that has made you feel like you were less than, worthless, sad, not understanding why, and you have fought through it and not done anything bad to people, I am so fucking proud of you. I really, really am. So I'm telling you, that trauma stuff, it'll really fuck us up sometimes. It will really fuck you up. But I'm really glad that you're keeping it all together. I know it's hard sometimes, but I'm glad. I'm very glad. I'm proud of myself right now. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. And fuck Chandler Halderson.
Family that saw him often, and a large network of family friends that considered themselves his family. He had numerous people that would drop everything to help him if it was needed. He never faced any sort of discrimination that I can find from any source. By pretty much every measure, he was a white male who had a childhood of privilege. The only potential criticism that anyone that we talked to, and we talked to well over 100 people, was that perhaps his mother babied him a little too much. or was a little too doting. As I often explain to my husband, that's what mothers do.
Damn.
It is out of this
She
life
putting
of
herself in
privilege, this childhood, that was nearly ideal that he committed these crimes. It's also worth noting that these crimes were committed against these two individuals that provided this ideal childhood for him. The two people.
All right, a little of the PSI. It's a good little bit of the PSI. She's gonna talk a little bit about Bart and Krista. You know what? Let's see what William Brown has to say, because William Brown's always giving us a little tidbit. We'll listen to a little bit of William Brown and then possibly get into the judge's sentencing. Looks like the judge isn't gonna rip him a new one, unfortunately, but that's fine.
Living, and it's something I should think about. One well written by the defense. Comments on some of the other sentencing factors. I'm going to start with the submission by the defense, which I thought was well put together and well written, and included an article, a law review article that I read with great interest. Obviously, it concerns what I do for a living, and it's something I should think about. One thing that, before I start, I do want to thank both the defense attorneys. I think they've done.
I just want to thank everyone before we blow your client out of the fucking water with a life sentence.
And public defenders, and I've appreciated their presence, and they've been nothing but respectful and honorable in their task, and it was a hard job in this case. But speaking especially to their submission today, Attorney Dorrell said something that stuck out to me as absolutely true, which is one of the lines, which is, it seems that people, I'm quoting, paraphrasing here, believe that today is a foregone conclusion as to what the outcome is. And I, like her, I don't know that that's true. And I certainly don't think it's true with you, Judge. I'll tell you that as a prosecutor, I often prosecute homicides. And that's an unfortunate reality of being a prosecutor in a city. People commit the crime of intentional homicide. These hearings happen a great deal. My job is obviously to convict people if I believe they're guilty, and here, obviously, of course,
I love Will, but let's keep it moving.
On a single day, because he was caught lying about where he was working and going to school, or perhaps just where he was going to school. It was uncomfortable, probably, that he was caught.
I will say a lot of the things that they kind of have to do is they really have to reiterate things here, because there are so many days and weeks between the trial. I think that the guilty verdict was read out 2 weeks ago, but the sentencing just happened about 2 days ago. So they've kind of got to remind the jury and the judge a few things that are happening. That's why you and I are hearing a lot of repetitiveness in this. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you.
Committing it twice is even more. It's my position that he should never be released from prison.
Oh, agreed.
He can come up with in his own mind, whether it be today or down the road in many years. Nothing will ever explain it. His actions in July of this year were
horrendous.
Evil.
Yes.
And for this generation and at this time, Mr. Halderson is the personification of evil in our community. He can work the rest of his life at trying to earn back the respect and trust and love of maybe some of his family, and I hope he does that. But that's a different thing than what's going on here today. Our question is whether Mr. Halderson should ever be released from prison, and if so, when should he have that opportunity to act?
Chat, life in prison, or do you think that he should serve 30 years per murder with the possibility of parole? I'll give you, you can say life, or you can say, double 30, something like that. I am for sure of the opinion that this man should never be released. Yeah, life. It's just, I don't think he can be rehabilitated, because what symptom are we treating, right? When people go through extreme trauma or self-loathing or something like that, or maybe they're like emotionally dysregulated and choose to go to violence, well, that is a symptom that we can look at in therapy. It's all connected to, an inciting event, maybe early in their childhood. We have nothing for Chandler. There is nothing to treat. He should, in my opinion, be locked away for life. He should not have a girlfriend. He should not... you can't even trust him around his own family that loved him. These people loved him. This is what he does to people that love him.
Ask. It's my position that he should never be released from prison.
Mm-hmm.
That the mere possibility of his return to our community would shock the conscience of almost every citizen of this community. It would depreciate the seriousness of what he's done. It would cause extreme angst, animosity, probably for many, to even feel that that's a possibility. We don't.
Do you think people who killed on death row should be tortured? What kind of question is that? I think for the most part, torture is essentially for either the extraction of information or for a power dynamic, or actually it's usually the extraction of information through a power dynamic. It's just like, who wants that? None of us want anyone to be tortured. In fact, the psychological, the emotional damage, what do you guys say? Psychic damage? The psychic damage of being locked up in solitary and all you can think about is what you did to your parents over and over and over and over every day. Not knowing what the public thinks about you. Not knowing how many strange Twitch streamers are watching your trial. Your little tiny secret that you thought you were going to keep contained in your hometown is now spread across the entire world. That's psychic damage. That is torture. And you know what? We don't need to be torturing anybody, but if people do it to themselves, come what may, leave them in the room.
Have a more serious punishment, but sometimes it's appropriate. And in this case, it's the state's position, it is my position, it is my recommendation that Mr. Halderson spend the remainder of his life in prison.
Thanks, Dad,
that he not be eligible for parole at any point. Again.
All right,
Be something to point out right away. But we are asking that you do provide Chandler with the opportunity to show to Your Honor that he is redeemable in the future.
He's
and that's
not.
all we're asking.
Was the united effort of a number of people.
All right.
Court
All right, guys. Time for the sentencing.
Tends to make a number of observations at sentencing hearings that are contested and which carry a good deal of weight. And I'm not going to depart from that process today. I first think it's important to acknowledge that the
Acknowledge what?
trial and the process within this case that brings us here today was the united effort of a number of people. And first and foremost, I want to recognize again the jurors, but not just those 12 people that rendered the verdicts here, but those alternates, those people that responded to the summons, especially given the time of year that this occurred, and the concerns that were rife regarding individual health. We, as by necessity, inconvenienced a number of citizens, and in the end, when I spoke to them, they had no regrets about their service. And that is because they understood that under our system, that is vital. And they understood that they had a duty to perform once selected. So I thank them once again. I want to thank the bailiff staff who, throughout those weeks of trial, worked incredibly well in assisting the parties, the court, the witnesses, and the media. I want to thank the prosecution because I thought that the case that they presented was done efficiently, economically, but most importantly, with due deference to the nature of the evidence and the need to present that evidence in a manner which honored the people who were lost.
Okay.
We had a number of lay witnesses that came to court to testify. I assume
I want to keep going. I want to get through part of the beginning, but we'll get to the good part.
They all came willingly and testified here, and I appreciated their participation and the time that it took for them, again, under the circumstances, both as far as health and the nature of the proceedings and their testimony. Counsel mentioned that this crime caused a rip in our community. If there's one thing that's a positive coming out of this, I think that it is a demonstration to our community of the pride we should feel in our law enforcement.
Vortex said, I've been watching this for 5 hours. Am I doing okay, Vortex? Am I doing okay? Yes, we are coming up on 5 hours. Man, you know, I just gotta be real for a second. Sometimes I'm like, BOZE, don't say it on live stream, because once you say it, it's out there forever. You know, when people are like, I just can't believe that this happened. I don't know how this could have happened. It's because people are not ready to combat the societal norms of someone that looks like Chandler could possibly do this. When they say, I just can't, I don't know how this could have happened. I don't understand. It's because you're programmed to think that somebody that looks like him wouldn't do this. And if you undo that programming, maybe you can accept it. Because there's a lot of people here that are not surprised. It's because he looks like a nice little clean-cut boy. That's what his girlfriend thought too. She's over here talking about some selfie, let me see face and stuff. It's because he was a clean-cut, nice-looking boy. Period. That's what it was.
Pride we should feel in how they investigated this case and how they presented the evidence in this case.
It can be anybody.
Well, I honestly think it put Dane County on the map through both the Justice Department efforts and the efforts of our local Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies involved. It was quite incredible. I also want to finally say something about the fact that at every trial, just about, I hear defense attorneys speaking to jurors in voir dire about the fact that the defendant has a right to a trial. The defendant does not have to prove anything. The defendant does not have to testify. Sometimes the counsel will go to the extent of saying, we don't have to do anything. It's the state's burden. It's the state's responsibility to carry the case forward, to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. And you should find
He's
the defendant.
He's explaining a bunch of stuff to us. Let's go ahead.
Had the benefit of reviewing all the pre-trial submissions by the parties. Community feel be considered an attorney's Brown or intensive therapy.
Oh, okay. I just saw I see the word mutilating bodies, and I'm like, okay, go back. Okay.
The gravity of the offense is as serious as it could be, and I must not overlook, of course, the steps taken to hide the crime.
Yes.
The steps taken which, if one ponders it, certainly makes the crime even worse. If you could say that the
Does he have an earring and a bow tie?
Murder of your parents
is eccentric.
Something that could be made worse. I've tried, even though I've had to examine carefully the evidence, not to think about it. I've tried not to think about how or what steps were taken or how these things even took place. I don't wish to engage in that speculation at sentencing, but I recognize that the jury found Mr. Halderson guilty of mutilating both bodies, hiding both bodies, and presenting a story to law enforcement to try and lead them on a completely different path than what had actually occurred. And that he took steps in those actions which really robbed those people of dignity.
Oh, he's
But
so
fortunately, their
affected by it.
dignity is in whole here in these people that remember them, these people that are here today.
I'm crying because of me cry.
I appreciated learning more about them, and my condolences go to every member of their family. There's no foregone conclusions in sentencing. I've learned that since my time on the bench. I've learned that each case is different. Each case demands an individual examination. And sometimes I will confess I sit down not knowing what I'm going to do or not even certain which direction I'm leading.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all of the statements made by counsel here and in writing, recognizing that the determination doesn't come until this point and nothing is foregone as far as a conclusion.
I thought he was about to straight up cry.
This is the third individual.
Dude, okay. Pinky said Judge Daddy. Not everyone has to be y'all's daddy. This is like, I feel like a single mom and I got 2 kids at home, and anytime I bring a man over, it could be the delivery guy. My kids are like, Daddy? I'm like, I swear I've raised them well. They just want to be loved.
for which I've had to make this determination. And similar to ADA Raymond's comments, I've had to sentence a host of other people up to this crime, where you can observe a lot in the background of the individual that you end up wishing hadn't been the case, because they might not have come to the point if they had had a better foundation. It is to Bart and Krista's credit the foundation Mr. Halderson enjoyed. And it does not explain what happened here. And as everyone has discussed, there may be...
I'm sorry. He's being way too nice to Chandler here. Way too nice. Dude, if I wasn't live, I would be doing the sentencing right now, and it would be much colder, sharper, faster than this.
The ability to have rehabilitation throughout some course of time. And that's why the defense
it's professional. Okay, you're right.
that be kept in mind as to the determination of eligibility for parole. But in all honesty, I must say that as a wiser judge indicated to me once, you should sentence people not because of your anger, if indeed you're fearful of them.
Yeah, I'm scared of Chandler.
And not utilize the same standards for both.
And I don't mean this as like oh no, sir, you have so much power. I'm scared of you because you clearly, like, you're just like, Chandler is literally the definition of a person that chooses violence in the morning. Okay, like, you just go away. Just go away. Okay, I'm not into it. I don't want to deal with it.
I cannot conceive of a way to fulfill my duty to protect the public that I serve were I to perceive that at some point in time an individual who committed
we always
these
remember
crimes
judges
should be released back into that public. I cannot grant to Mr. Halderson the generosity of spirit and empathy that his grandmother has for him. Empathy which his own parents would surely have had.
Yes.
Where he just owned up to what he had deceived them about. I cannot say to the community here in this room or at large in this county that Mr. Halderson should have the ability to be reviewed and considered for release back into our community at any point, despite his young age at this point in his life. The gravity of these offenses and the need to protect the public outweigh the potential that there could be that at some future point he should have presence among us.
No.
Now, that is not to say that he may not have
He
the
should not
possibility
have
of
presence among us.
as
If you have to say it like that so dramatically, the answer is probably a no.
member of his family in the future. That is up to those folks. And that's mentioned in the defense memorandum regarding a hope that someday there might be a reconstruction of a relationship. That's all well and good. I would wish that for any.
Guys, just a heads up, we are coming up on the end of talking about Chandler Halderson. This has been going on for about 3 hours, but my God, I've got to admit, and you know, I think Vortex said it too, it's been pretty interesting. We still got a little bit left in the sentencing here. We're going to clean it up, but after this, I am going to take a little break because we are doing a 12-hour stream, but you know what? I'm new to this. You know, I'm just a little baby. I'm going to take me a break for an hour. While I'm gone for an hour, I'm going to put on a JCS video. If you guys didn't know, like almost 2 years ago, JCS actually gave us permission to stream their videos on Twitch. So I feel pretty confident leaving that on while I'm gone. I'm going to go grab a little decaf coffee, eat some food. We're going to watch after this what pretending to be crazy looks like. How many mods do I have in chat? I'm going to need at least 2 people to keep it together. We'll leave that on, but we'll finish this up first, just letting you guys know what's coming up next.
Anyone, because I don't like telling his grandmother that I'm not able to give her.
And we'll
the
watch I
relief that
Survive
she's
together after.
Asking for here out of her love for her grandson. I cannot do that. I have to, for this sentence, ensure that the only time Mr. Halderson comes back into the community is to have the privilege of a burial that he denied his parents. And so on counts 1 and 5, per statute, I sentence him to life in prison, and pursuant to section 973.014, sub 1G3, I find that he is not.
He just fired that off. He just straight up was like, hold on.
Regarding a hope that someday there might be a reconstruction of a relationship. That's all well and good. I would wish that for anyone, because I don't like telling his grandmother that I'm not able to give her the relief that she's asking for here out of her love for her grandson.
No.
I cannot do that. I have to, for this sentence, ensure that the only time Mr. Halderson comes back into the community is to have the privilege of a burial that he denied his parents. And so on counts 1 and 5, per statute, I sentence him to life in prison. And pursuant to section 973.014, sub 1G3, I find that he is not
in the courtroom today, and we're here for it. The only time that he thinks that Chandler Halderson should walk amongst society is when he's being buried. So I guess he wouldn't be walking. He'd just be carried out into society. That's it. It's a cold world out there, y'all. It's a cold world.
Rather superfluous, to say the least, but at the same time, I absolutely acknowledge that we may be in a completely different position here.
All right, I need one more mod, guys.
Committed the acts of homicide, but then stopped and took other steps to accept responsibility and sought forgiveness of everyone. Because what happens with a weapon in a moment of panic is different than what happened over those 48 to 72 hours. The events of which I don't wish to think of or consider once again, having listened to the evidence and observed the testimony and the physical evidence. So to make this quite simple, I will impose maximum terms concurrent to each other and concurrent to counts 1 and 5 on each of the other counts within the information of which the verdict convicted Mr. Halderson. I do believe that by imposing the maximum, I'm recognizing the severity of those individual acts, but there is a life sentence here, so making them consecutive does not undermine the gravity of that, given the maximum penalty involved. I determined, by my calculation, 253 days of credit.
Rob said, you've made my workday fun as fuck. Thank you. Dude, thank you. Oh, wait, we're just getting to the tail end of it. I want to see him walk off. Okay.
The judgment of conviction. Witness fee to be payable. Supervision.
Zero restitution.
Of the 24 of the pre-sentence as to those sentence, so that point is moot. Nora Raymond, did I overlook anything in passing judgment?
No.
No. Judge
Vera
away.
Or Doral, did I overlook anything other than addressing post-conviction? No. Mr. Halderson, you have the absolute right to seek an appeal. You have 20 days within which to start that process. That's through filing a notice of intent.
Of course he's going to try to file an appeal.
I believe that we have on file the notice that you understand and have been given notice of that right, and most importantly, of that deadline. Your signature's on that document. That'll be placed within the file here. I thank everyone for being here today.
Thank you.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Oh, he ready to get out of there, huh? Don't get up too fast, Chandler. We don't trust you. Dude, also, man, Chandler really ain't gonna have fun in prison. I don't think... Mans did not think this far. He truly did not. He's about to have the worst time of his life.